So who talks first? Do I talk first or do you talk first?
Oh, you talk first. It's your podcast.
Yeah, but you're the guest. You can just do talking.
Am I a guest or am I a pest at this point?
Either or, really.
Yeah, I mean,
Depends on what you're saying. If you're saying merch, pest.
that's why I was
guest.
I've given up on merch. I've realised I'm just.
Yay! I've broken you.
Well, no, you just haven't been about for a couple of weeks, so what's been the point?
Look, you know that
we'll be back soon.
I have loads of things to do, and as discussed before I started the recording, there's loads of things to do at home. So I'm like, my hands are tied with time that I can actually do anything, and I choose to play Destiny. And unfortunately, now Destiny have given me 2 games to play, so it's Destiny and Destiny Rising. And merch is a little bit of a dream away at the moment, so I apologise.
It's been a dream away for a couple of years. It's okay. I accept it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like a unicorn. It's very mythical. If you do see one, it's magical. The unicorn, not the merch, obviously, because merch is imaginary. Merch is imaginary, and unicorns are real.
I had to create my own merch, didn't I? I got my own stickers.
Maybe that's the way forward then.
Make my own merch.
Yeah.
Might have to.
Anyway, way forward. No parody, so let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the Two Titans and a Hunter Destiny 2 podcast, a show dedicated to bringing you the latest intel, the mightiest news, and the boldest opinions from the farthest reaches of the Sol system. Whether you're a bright-eyed new guardian fresh from the Cosmodrome or a battle-hardened veteran of the Red War, this is your Destiny destination. We'll arm you with tips, tricks, and tower-worthy tools to help you triumph, thrive, and revel in the glory of the fight. So without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Oh dear. So yes, welcome to the show. I'm Night Demon, along with my pest of a guest, Noble.
The non-AI Noble.
The original, the OG. Now, that doesn't mean that we aren't going to have any AI robots helping us out this week, because we know what my reading's like. We know what Peroty's reading's like. And if Peroty's away, my reading just gets even worse. So there may be an employed AI robot to help us at some point.
Are they employed? Do they have contracts? Are they paid?
I have to pay the site that generates the voice. So technically, maybe.
Yeah, technically, they are employees.
Yeah. I pay for them. So yeah, welcome to the show, Noble. It's good to have you back.
Very much. It's good to be back.
Is it really?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to be positive, so let's not drag it.
Are you trying to be positive? No, I mean, let's hear your grievances, because I've only seen your grievances in chats over the last couple of weeks. So here's your kind of time to air your grievances to Bungie, because they do listen to the show. So as long as you keep it PG friendly, so that all the listeners kind of agree with you and stuff. So, the floor is yours to air your grievances to Bungie. I'm just going to throw you under the bus, basically.
I've noticed, yeah, right under the bus. My grievances are the same as everybody else's grievances. It's stale, it's boring, and it doesn't feel like it's worth my time.
What specifically, though?
I find the director boring. There's just a lack of anything that I have even remote interest in.
Director or Portal?
Portal. Sorry, yeah.
No, that's fine. Portal. I just wanted to clarify, because, as I said, Bungie listened to this. So if you're saying director, they're going, oh, hang on a minute. We need to get on that. Portal. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep.
Oh, we better fix the director again. The director was fine. Leave it alone. Yeah, the Portal. It's just boring. There's just nothing in there to make me even remotely interested in playing the game. There's content in there that's 7 years old. I don't want to be playing 7-year-old content. I played it. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the T-shirt, and I don't care about it.
Do you think that's Destiny's kind of underlying fault for the whole game, basically, that it is a 7-year-old game and the content does just keep kind of getting recycled to be played again in a different way, or sometimes not even in a different way, that that's the underlying factor for the game not feeling right?
If they'd have launched this, exactly what we've got, if they'd have launched it as Destiny 3, and we'd have started off on a vanilla campaign of, this is your starting point, this is Kepler, here's where you begin in, go play that. You've got that for 3 months. Is it 3 months? 4 months? Whichever.
Yeah, something like that. 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you've got that for a couple of months until you get some more story.
Next week.
Have on.
But would you have really been satisfied with
that.
Really? You'd have been happy with a stripped down Crucible, a non-existent Gambit. There might be trials in there, but you'd lose access to, say, everything that was Destiny 2-ish if you were kind of just starting afresh, because that's what happened with Destiny 1. From Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, we didn't have access to the planets, the raids, and everything else. It kind of had to be brought up in line.
But
if you really just had Kepler and a couple of solo ops things to kind of do, would that really have kept your interest?
Kepler, a raid, and instead of giving us 7-year-old content to play for a pinnacle grind, they could have given us the new content on Kepler for a pinnacle grind. You're saying that Gambit's no longer in the game.
No, but I'm saying if it was Gambit in Destiny 3 kind of thing, they would have taken it out and said, we're working on it, like they have done now, sort of.
Yeah, but basically still, even if you exclude regular Gambit as we know it and call it Gambit, Gambit's still pretty much there in the pattern that we've got the Civ, I don't even know what to call it, but that one. It's still pretty much there. So if you want to go and play something Gambit-esque, you've got that. If they'd have given us all new content as the pinnacle grind, I don't think I'd have minded as much as I do playing 7-year-old content alone as pinnacle grind.
Yeah.
Because it's just boring.
Would you have not liked maybe if Bungie had kind of continued with what we've got at the moment, but made improvements to, say, the strikes, made improvements to the pinnacle stuff in the portal, and made the portal what they originally envisaged? Would you have thought that might have been a little bit better than what we've kind of got at the moment?
How are you going to improve a strike? All the strikes that we've got as it is have all been changed how many times throughout the lifetime of Destiny 2?
Yeah, I mean, with different modifiers and things like that. But then...
Well, no, I mean, Lake of Shadows now is completely different to Lake of Shadows when we first got it.
Yeah.
And it's been changed 2-3 times in the lifetime of Destiny 2.
But would you not rather of that, like what we had with the Lake of Shadows, with what we've had with Inverted Spire, have different versions of the strikes come up? Or the ones that we're kind of constantly playing. So if you went and played Liminality with the Edge of Fate, it was slightly different from when it launched with the Final Shape. Would you not find that a little bit more interesting, or interesting for a short period of time and then it'd be boring again, kind of thing?
But the entire thing would have still been the same, wouldn't it? It'd have still had the same basis. Like when they changed Lake of Shadows, I'll keep going back to Lake of Shadows because
that's fine.
It's easiest for me in my mind. But every time they change Lake of Shadows, they change a small aspect of it, but you're always in the same location. You're always realistically doing the same thing. It's not that much different. It just takes longer. It's all the same location. It's all the same enemies. It's just...
Well, I don't know what they could do, to be honest, because apart from developing a brand new game, it's quite hard to suddenly just come up with new stuff for, like, say, for the portal. Because if you went Destiny 3 fresh with just Kepler and a few other things that maybe could have been taken from Destiny 2, I think you would have found the same kind of problems, that people would have got bored very, very quickly. The pinnacle grind would have been very tedious and very, not very inviting for people to kind of progress, and people would have maybe just fallen off a lot quicker. I think it would have been very similar to how we went from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2.
Yeah, I think people would have been more accepted if they'd have started us on a brand new game.
They would have been accepted. They would have been accepting
weapons
for about 5 minutes. I guarantee you, this is the Destiny community. They're always
I
hungry
agree
for
with
new
that.
stuff.
We are always hungry for new stuff, but we don't even have new stuff.
Well, you do. You have Kepler. You have the solo ops, which were all kind of. I know they were kind of mini missions that were kind of changed to be integrated into the solo ops, and then we also had, what else was it? The raid as well. So they're all kind of new aspects to the thing, and give Bungie their credit. They could have gone, this is Destiny 3, and we just wipe the slate clean. But they've done what we kind of suggested a long time ago, is that Destiny 2 there kind of, it exists in kind of the world tab, but then to get to the new stuff, to get the Destiny 3 stuff, you've got this other tab that you kind of fly to, which is technically the portal, and you can only access Kepler through the portal. So they have kind of made this divide of, that's Destiny 2 stuff over there, this is Destiny 3 stuff over here, or Destiny 2.5 stuff over here. But in the portal, we've got to include some Destiny 2 stuff, because otherwise it would be completely barren. So
yeah, but why not give us the stuff on Kepler to play in the same sense as what we are doing in the portal with all Destiny 2 stuff? So take all those little missions that we did after, during the story. We got all those little.
Yeah, you can still go back to Kepler and do those little missions, though.
We can still do those, but why not put those as your pinnacle activities? So put all the your bonus reward systems into them instead of putting them into 7-year-old content. So go do these again, which fine, it's repetitive, but at least the new stuff is then rewarding. And it's not 7-year-old content that's becoming rewarding. Go do that old mission, and here you get your regular drop, and then you're going to get your 2 bonus drops. And there's an event going on, so you're going to get bonus drops from the event during this mission also, instead of doing a 7-year-old one to get the same thing that we've ran a million times before in the past.
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from. I mean, with the solo ops grind that people were doing, would it have made more sense for Bungie to say, right, you can go and play your pinnacle ops, but there's not going to be any bonuses in there? That you can just go in there, you can get your loot, you can get it really quickly. But if you play Fireteam Ops or you play Pinnacle Ops, Fireteam Ops, you'll have some bonuses in there. Pinnacle Ops, you have more because you have to invest more time. And the more time that you invest into the game, the more bonuses and more drops that you get. I think that's probably how they should have incremented the incentive for people to go and play in those other areas, rather than kind of, let's just do solo ops until our eyes bleed in like the salt mines and things like that.
I don't see why they locked it to a specific mission. Don't lock it to a specific mission. Give us, here's solo ops. If you play any solo ops activity, if you do 3, you get this reward. If you do 6, so go back to the old system, what we had in Destiny 2, when, before the thing where you did like 3 strikes and you got one thing, that you did 6 and you got another, and then you did 9, you got an exotic, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Go back to that and have an increase on whether it be 3, 4, 6, 12, I don't care, as to how many things you actually get rewarded, but have it just for all the solo ops.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. So say, for instance, they gave you 8 solo ops, and each solo ops was different because it gave you a different piece of gear. So if you wanted to play to get a class item, you played the salt mines. If you played Caldera, you got a primary weapon, and each one did a different thing, but it didn't give you any bonuses. But if you wanted to specifically target getting those specific items, like they said that they wanted kind of people to be able to do, instead of farming one specific place to get all your drops, you'd have to rotate and go round to all the different ones to get. So if you wanted to stay in solo ops to kind of get your pinnacle grind to whatever you wanted, you'd have to keep playing every single one to kind of boost your level up evenly. But if you kind of played your Fireteam Ops, there was more rewards in there, so you could get a specific reward, and then you got extra rewards because you put in more time. And the longer you play for the game, like the Pinnacles, I mean, maybe even Crucible had to have a few more kind of incentives to go in there, because apart from, I suppose, playing the actual events and things that say I had to go and play in Crucible, I haven't really played Crucible. I mean, that is down to my playtime and kind of trying to grind some power at the same time. But I haven't kind of played in that area as much as I did this week. I went and played some trials, but I understand where you're coming from and I understand where the community are coming from. But I also understand where Bungie are coming from with the issues that they kind of had, that if they did wipe the slate clean, it would have, I think there would have been more of a knee-jerk reaction from the community. It would have been, yay, we've got like a Destiny 3, but it would have been, oh my God, we've lost everything from Destiny 2. I think this half measure of being able to kind of cross over from Destiny 2 to a Destiny 3 Lite with Kepler and the portal was a sort of good thing that hopefully that they can build on, and they just improve over time. And we are kind of seeing that with where they're moving different things from different areas in the portal. So like the coil and the onslaughts are going to be slowly moved into Pinnacle because they take a lot longer than say a strike does, which is should be a 10 to 15 minute thing, is what they say in the description for Fireteam Ops. But I decided, I mean, this week I wanted to kind of get a couple of the challenges done for, I think it was get strand kills and get, what else was there? There was strand and solar kills in Crucible. So I was like, right, I'll go and play Momentum Control because that's up in Crucible, but it's not in the portal, it's on the Director. I sat in a queue for about 10 minutes. It just kept going round and round. It found like about 3, 4, 5 players, then disappeared back down to 2. Then went up to about 8 at one point and then disappeared down to me. And I'm like, this is really bizarre. You know, this having a separate playlist outside the portal that either nobody's going to play or nobody wants to play or nobody knows it's there.
Having a playlist
is really hard. At the end, it kicked me to orbit and just went, we can't find your team. And I'm like, wow. So I ended up having to play portal activities to kind of get it done and end up kind of just doing it in Trials of Osiris in the end.
Yeah, having a playlist outside their playlist isn't going to work.
No. There's no incentive for people to go in there to get other stuff. I mean, I know Peroty was talking about last week going and playing Gambit because he enjoys playing Gambit. And if you don't know it's there to go and play it, if you're a new player coming in and you're just kind of, okay, yeah, we've got the world out here, but everything that I kind of need is being pointed at going in here with the portal, then you're not really going to, and there's no incentive, like as Peroty said, there's no incentive for kind of getting powerful gear to get yourself boosted up above, I think it was 200. I think you can get to 200 in there.
You can get to 200, yeah.
But there's no kind of, if you play it, you're still going to get powerful drops of old gear to kind of, so it goes against their play anything you kind of want. So you can play anything you want, but as long as we've directed you to the portal to play in that area of whatever you kind of want to get the gear.
Yeah,
but anything out in the world,
yeah, you can play anything you want within our playlist. But if you play outside our playlist, then you can't play anything you want to play.
Yeah.
Which is another reason I think it has annoyed me so much, because dungeons were left out of it, and I'm just like, well, just no, out of everything.
I think that came down to time. I really do think that came down to time.
I'd like to agree with you, but I just feel like I can't.
I think the whole thing with the Sony acquisition and this grand vision that he had for the portal, like I said last week, I think if they'd have been able to get it done to what they actually wanted it to be, this portal activity, I think we wouldn't have seen so much of the world, because it would have all been included in the portal and it would have all made sense, because you would have just been able to access the stuff that's generally in the world in the portal, like the raids, the dungeons, Gambit, a full Crucible. And the half thing that we've kind of got now, I think just shows you that they were under so much pressure to kind of get the Edge of Fate out with, I mean, it was a really good expansion, but to get that out and some version of the portal was all they could kind of do, because I think if they'd have pushed it back like they've done with many of the expansions, I think it would have been very hard for Sony to understand that this is what the game needed, because I think Sony only see kind of the dollar signs behind it. It's like, well,
but
you've got the issue with Marathon from the same company, and we've also got this is now kind of pushing back on us and saying, no, we need more time. And Sony are going, no, you need to release this now. You need to release Marathon. You're not in the stage of dictating when you can release the game anymore. So I think that's what it kind of came down to.
But is it Sony that needed the game out, or was it Bungie that needed the game out?
Bungie have kind of pushed back against Activision, pushed back against anyone else they've kind of been partnered with for more time. I mean, especially when they went independent, that was a time when we saw a lot more kind of, right, we're going to need another 6 months. We're going to need a year to kind of do this. We're going to give you, I mean, look what happened with Lightfall. Lightfall was meant to be the end of the saga, wasn't it? And then they changed it and said, oh no, there's going to be another one in between, and Lightfall's going to be the one in between, and then you're going to have the final shape. So it was like, okay, so they kind of extended themselves to give themselves another year to develop the final shape. And for what we got, it was okay. You know, there's a lot of criticism, but it was kind of another made up year in between to develop what they kind of really wanted the end of the saga to be.
I don't know. Like you say about the pushback against Activision, yeah, they did. They pushed back against the people that actually, were carrying them realistically. Because you look, I mean, they promised us all these things about, oh well, we're going to be independent and we're going to be able to do this, we're going to be able to do that, and we're going to be able to do other. And we got none of what they actually said they were going to be able to do.
Well, no, I think from what they did from when they were independent, they were able to dictate the timelines of when they were able to put out stuff. And sometimes it was good and sometimes it was bad. I mean, as again, I referenced the Witch Queen. I think even Beyond Light was pushed back a couple of months as well to kind of get that out, get it to a stage where they were happy with it. And I think things like this just needed more time, to be honest. I think we do need to kind of ride it out as Destiny players. If you enjoy the game, or have enjoyed the game up until now, and have seen kind of, it's just not worth my time to kind of play, because it is just kind of a grind of it's a grind on top of a grind of, and it's not an enjoyable grind because it's just like you said, 7 years content, just regrinding that.
Yeah,
and we've not really had. I mean, we have complained about it before, but maybe it's because it is the 7th year. It's like we just don't want it anymore.
I'm hoping that Ash and Iron changes my opinion on things and it makes it slightly better. Because the other thing I've been missing is, what am I playing for? You're not telling me anything. I've got no story to play. I'm not learning anything. I'm just repeating 7-year-old content for what? If I was repeating 7-year-old content and you were giving me some sort of story, I wouldn't mind. But I'm not getting any sort of story. There's nothing here. What am I? I'm just aimlessly wandering about playing 7-year-old content because it's what you're telling me to do.
So have you finished the main campaign? Have you done all your little blue missions and all your other things on Kepler?
Yep.
And you've done that a couple of times, or have you just done it with one character?
I've done it with my Titan, my Warlock, and I think I'm about halfway through my Hunter, and I just said, yeah, no, I can't be bothered anymore. The Hunter can just sit there. He can just become...
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Hunters anyway, so you could just sit in corner and be halfway done.
So are you not looking for getting yourself powered up to get the different armors with the different set bonuses and different weapons and things from this season?
I don't see
the point. Is that not kind of interesting you?
I don't see the point. It's RNG with RNG. You're going to lose it in 3 months anyway.
Oh, no. We've now changed that. But yes, I see where you're coming from, because that's what I've been saying. So, like, what is the point of taking away my Armor 2.0 system? Because I invest into your Armor 3.0 system, within 6 months, I've got to reinvest into it because you're saying that Armor 3.0 is now kind of null and void. And I know you want to kind of get people into the cycle of sunsetting stuff. But the problem that you've caused, Bungie, is that you've caused this hoarding issue with guns and things, and sunsetting and unsunsetting, and then sunsetting and then unsunsetting again. And Destiny players are in this, well, if I hang on to it, maybe it'll come back to be more powerful, or it'll be more useful, or it'll be broken because the systems have changed so much that you've kind of missed this one out from here, kind of thing. And I'll be the only person that's kind of got this set. Yeah, or set or weapon.
Yep.
So it's a problem that they've kind of caused themselves. But there was no point in investing in the Armour 3.0 system apart from the bonuses and things that you kind of get for the season, which they're really trying to push. Because at the end of the 6 months, when it comes to, say, Renegades in December, that the armor that I've now farmed for these like 6 months is going to be null and void, and there's no difference between that and the Armour 2.0 that I've still got in my vault. It's like
that's what I mean. It's RNG mixed in with RNG mixed in with it's not going to be any use in 6 months.
Yeah, and I think to Bungie's credit, they have actually listened to us on this one, and I do believe we'll cover it in the TWAB this week. But if it is something that they've kind of gone back on, does that now kind of maybe give you a bit more of an incentive to kind of say, oh, okay, if I'm going to be able to keep it for a year, maybe, do I then start doing a bit more grinding, looking at what kind of these set bonuses are and maybe putting builds together?
You've got people that say, like, oh yeah, but I've been running this armor now for 6 seasons or whatever. If that's the case, why is it that every season we all watched our armor rolls like a hawk? If you didn't care, why did everybody watch armor rolls all the time? Because there was always a point here or a point there that you needed. At no point did you ever stop chasing an armor roll, even under Armour 2.0.
No, but I think it's slowed down. I think that's the problem that Bungie was saying is like
it
slowed down to the point where you kind of the armor wasn't meaningful anymore. And I think they wanted to give us armor that was meaningful, that you wanted to chase. So you went from a tier 1 to tier 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 eventually, if you could get there.
Yeah,
in those armor sets. And they would really be really powerful. They, a lot more powerful than what you kind of get with your Armour 2.0. And I am seeing that some of the gear that's tier 4 and the one piece that I've got is tier 5 really outclasses or outshines what I had with the Armour 2.0.
Yeah, and I get that.
Yeah.
But why do we need to then sunset it? I don't see the point in sunsetting it because.
Well, I think the idea was
stop chasing it.
The idea was to get people to buy into the Armour 3.0. So say you've got your tier 5 sets. Say you've got about 6 sets for each class and you were really happy with those tier 5s, all the stats that you wanted. And then at the end of the 6 months, what I think Bungie had hoped is that you deleted or got rid of everything that was Armour 2.0. And then all you had were your 6 sets for your character in your vault, ready to go for whatever the new expansion was. But then what you'd need to do is then power yourself back up to the point where you get your tier 5s again, or whatever tier that you were kind of searching for, to like for like replace, or even better replace than what you currently had. So it would be a lot easier for you to kind of see. So say you had something that had a tier 5 piece that is at base without kind of any mods and things, 75. So it's got 20 health, 30 class, 25 weapon. Yeah. And I wanted to kind of replace that for like, but say the new tier 5 gives me an extra couple of stats in, say, weapon. So say it's 27, or, they improve the tier 5s that can do something better. So you kind of look to just replace like for like, rather than kind of, well, this stat is this. I think that's why they've kind of made them quite static with, you can look for like a specialist piece of gear rather than, looking for, say, a gunner piece of gear. So those armor stats are going to be very similar in those areas, but they could change slightly with what the numbers are basically and make it easier. I think that's what they kind of wanted you to kind of be able to do.
But why sunset piece of armor? Just leave the armor as it is, and instead of replacing the piece of armor, why don't you give us a new perk to the armor every season? So you still wanted to use, what is it, that one that Peroty likes, that's sort of like kinetic tremors on top of kinetic tremors? I can't think.
I can't remember, to be honest.
But that's because of the perk that's on the armor, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah. So why not, next season, instead of saying to Peroty, right, well, that's now just rubbish, why not just give us a new perk? It's still gunner or whatever, but the perk of what it does changes. So if you still want to use kinetic tremors on top of kinetic tremors, go for it, have on. You know what I mean? But we've also got this new set here that gives us Firefly, or it gives us explosive rounds, or
I think that's what their idea was. I think that they would slightly change some of the sets so that if something came out, like they've done previously, if something came out of the gate on like our artifact that was really too hot, the next season that artifact's retired, they could then take out that mod and give us other mods, and then when it comes back, it's slightly adjusted. And I think that's also part of their thinking, is that if we give people these armor sets with these kind of perks, so you get the 2 set and the 4 set, and something is completely broken, we've only then got 6 months, and in the 6 months, it's not going to be as powerful because it doesn't get those bonuses. So we can either then, downgrade players, or players can automatically downgrade themselves by wearing it, so it's not going to be as powerful as the next set of gear. But we can then force players to kind of get new sets with different perks on there, and then if that set kind of comes back, we can adjust it slightly, and then hopefully people either won't know, or if they do know, we're just explaining that it was a little bit hot when it first came out, kind of thing. I think that's also that's also part of their thing, that they said before that each item should be adjustable, and if something's too hot, we'll be able to kind of do this and do that. And they did say that with the artifact, and I don't think they're saying that with the perks of the weapons that we're getting and the perks of the armor. But I think that's in the back of their minds. That's what they're also thinking, is that if it is too powerful, it's only too powerful for a certain amount of time before it's then downgraded in the game.
But everything's always downgraded in the game. A change from season to season anyway.
Not really. Say you had a set. Say you had like the Lustrous set from Solstice, and the Photogalvanic and the Cauterized were so powerful, and you've got tier 5s, you've got your best set. There's nothing that they could do if they didn't do sunsetting of armor for at all. You had that set and you were completely overpowered. The only way that they would be able to do it is actually individually go in and nerf that, and have to make a note of like, we're downgrading this, and then you'd find that there'd be uproar because they shipped it, they should have tested it, and you'd have all those arguments of, you've given it to us like this, it should have just kind of.
So you mean like they do with every piece of exotic armor that they ever release?
Yeah, I think it's less confrontational for them to be able to do it this way, the way that they're currently doing it.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's very ostracizing of certain groups of people, certain groups of their player base.
But also what you'll find is that beforehand, we didn't really have perks on the armor, because I think they've introduced this as something that's new to the armor. I mean, you could get mod slots if you had like raid gear to put in the mods, but I think those things have probably been tried and tested. Apart from when we had Gambit Prime, when we had the 2 set and the 4 set bonuses, I think apart from that, these things are kind of new to how they're kind of doing this.
Leviathan had it as well.
Did we have perks with Leviathan?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you used to have perks on your Leviathan armor. You can look at your year 1, your proper original Leviathan armor, like on your class item, etc. You could have it so that if you meleeed a major, you created a heavy brick, and there were certain perks that went on to certain pieces.
Yeah, I mean, they did dabble. That's what I'm saying. They did kind of dabble at the beginning of Destiny 2 with this.
Yeah. But again, I just feel like you do it to exotic armor all the time. You nerf exotic armor, you change exotic armor, you work on exotic armor all the time. You don't just completely take it off us and say, right, that's it, that's scrapped.
No, but sometimes they do just rework it completely, like they have done with what did they do? The Hunters with the Knucklehead Radar, and what was the other one that was very similar? That was the Foe Tracer. So Knucklehead Radar and Foe Tracer at some point were amalgamated into one of the exotics, and then they kind of had to create a new version of what that exotic actually did. So I know they're not kind of opposed to kind of doing that completely. I mean, Kepri Sting, which is one of the videos that I've got for this week, has been reworked so many times for the Hunters. And now, apparently, according to Cool Guy, it's really good in PvE and sometimes useful, I suppose, in PvP.
Yeah. I just feel like it's very much... They said that they didn't want to sunset anymore when they decided to sunsetting. They said, "Oh no, this is a bad idea. Actually, sunsetting. It's just not working the way we expected it to." Well, if it wasn't working the way you expected it to the first time round, why is it going to work the way you expected it to the second time? What makes
But again,
it
I think it goes back to the point of that the game has never been set up to be a sunsetting game.
No,
even in Destiny 1, when we wanted to bring items forward from, I think it was from Rise of Iron, I want to say, is that we then had to invest motes of light into those weapons and those armor pieces to bring them up to the power of the current season. So there's always kind of been this way of bringing the old stuff forward. And I think that's the problem that we've had as Destiny players. If it started off as a game that maybe every 2 years, everything kind of got sunset, they had a perfect thing, didn't they? From Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, your vault got destroyed in Destiny 2. At the beginning of Destiny 2, you didn't have access to anything. And it was like, whew, that's a clean slate. We can get rid of some of those guns that were overpowered in Destiny 1. We don't have to bring them back. But they did.
but again, now we've got the segregation between the director and the portal.
Yeah.
Well, the tower's not in the portal.
Well, there is a little grey rectangle that says "Go to tower."
Yeah, but it's, you know, like we could have done the same again and just had Destiny 3. And we could have said, right, yeah, but this time you've got a Kepler and everything's based out of Kepler. We're not over there anymore. We're all the way over here, and not all the way over there. So we're just going to hang out over here, and this is this game. And if you want your tower, well, go play that game.
Yeah, I also, like I said to you before the show, it also does come down to playing with friends. I think where you find a lot of friends want to get that power grind and get to the most powerful gear to actually get the stuff, you'll find that a lot of them will just go off and be the solo player. And that leaves players that are kind of more sociable, like you and myself, stuck with what to do. And if we've only got kind of just go and do the solo ops as well, it's like, well, yeah, I don't mind doing the solo ops, but I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to play with friends. I want to be more social.
Yeah.
This game was set up to be a social game, and
there's a reason we've always had a fire team and not a fire me.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't mind doing the fire me stuff when I am the only person on, or I can only jump on for like 10, 15 minutes as they were kind of intended. Not the be all and end all kind of thing. But then if you find that everybody's in there because it's the most efficient way to power grind, that's when you kind of come up against all these issues. But
I just find it's been very boring, and I don't understand aspects of it. Like I say, I just find it all a bit silly. Like I say, they've tried this sort of thing before. It didn't work for them before, and I don't see why they think it's going to work now. I just don't get it. But, you know, I'm here to be proven wrong. It's not my game. Prove me wrong. Show me that I'm wrong. That's fine. I don't mind to be proven wrong. But as it stands at the moment, you're not proving me wrong.
No, they're kind of doubling down on issues that go against what the community have been asking for, and then kind of having to backtrack on what the community is saying. Because I think the thing is, it's now not just the content creators and a small part of the community. It's the whole community going, no, you're not listening to us. That's not what we want.
It's one of the reasons I haven't played the game, because, you know, for so long it's been said that in order to cast your opinion, we need to vote in numbers. If I'm logging in, I'm not proving to them that this isn't right.
Yeah.
Because I'm still here and I'm still playing it, despite the fact that I don't agree with what they're doing.
So have you not logged on and played like the events that have been going on, like Solstice, and we had Arms Week before that, and now we've got Heavy Metal this week?
Arms Week was the last thing I played. I didn't play any Solstice.
Right.
And I've logged in this week and I've played a little bit of Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
That's what I was playing yesterday with Peroty, having a chat with Peroty. Basically trying to work out if it was just me. Like, is it?
Well, no, I don't think it is just you. And I think, you know, points are valid. And there will just be masochists like me that will just play the game. But I will give Bungie credit to say that the events that they've put on, yes, heavy metal is something that they've done only a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
but I will give them credit that it is enjoyable to play because they just throw the loot at you. There's just so much loot being thrown at me for weapons and armor and leveling up, and just playing in that game mode and getting all those extra rewards, like, you know, the bright dust and all the, like, the tokens to get the other stuff by just playing those events. Solstice, I was a bit skeptical because they took out the Bonfire Bash. I would have really liked to see Bonfire Bash in there as well.
That was another thing, you know, like, give us 7-year-old content, but we're going to take this content off you because it's old. All right, but the rest of the content that you're making is blazing.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Solstice should have been a 3-week event, and it should have come before we had the Arms Week, because I think that would have enticed people at that point, because they were getting a lot more loot from Solstice, and it was high tier loot as well, to carry that on in Arms Week. Then maybe give us, you know, like they did with a couple of weeks break, and then bring us back into heavy metal, which again is dropping so much loot and so many rolls, and the weapons are really kind of nice to be looking out for. That I think that's something that they should actually look into, is that, you know, yes, the events should pull people into the game, but they shouldn't be the be all and end all of pulling people back into the game. They should be an extra incentive to kind of get people to carry on.
Yeah. I've just realised that I did actually play a little bit of, oh my God, I've forgotten the name of it. You've just said it. Why am I being so useless?
Heavy metal.
No, the one before it.
Arms Week? Solstice.
Solstice. I did play a little bit of Solstice.
Okay.
But not a great deal. Because I just didn't find it as good as Arms Week. I actually really enjoyed Arms Week. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, there you go, see?
I'd have played more Arms Week. I really would.
Yeah.
But I felt like it came much too quick, which I know you said as well.
Yes.
You thought it turned up way too quick. It was like, you know, here, this is finished. Here, you're still trying to do this, that, and the other. And now here you go. Here, have these weapons that, you know, like, might not be available to you again. You can only have them on tier 2 because you haven't go live to the game. Like, oh, thanks, that's brilliant. So because I have a life and it doesn't revolve around me playing your game 24 hours a day, I can only have absolutely useless versions of these. It's just so frustrating. It was so frustrating. But it was a really enjoyable event.
Yeah.
Solstice I played a little bit of, but I didn't like Solstice because I didn't like not having Bonfire Bash. Because as I've just said, I don't understand why we didn't have Bonfire Bash. Like, yeah,
but not to pick you up on something that, I mean, you were saying, you know, if we would have gone from Destiny 2 to Destiny 3 and it had just been Kepler, they would have just given you what you got with Solstice now without the Bonfire Bash, because they would have said, oh, that's in Destiny 2. You were saying you would be happy with the less content, but now you're saying you're not happy that they took that out.
Yeah, because they're not giving me they're giving me less content while saying that we're not going to take content off you. But if like you said, but they're allowing you access to this, that, and the other by leaving us with Destiny 2 content. Well, yeah, fine. But if they're going to leave us with Destiny 2 content, don't take Destiny 2 content off us then. If you're going to give us an event that we've had for the last 7 years, don't take what was the event actually away from us. Because what was the event was Bonfire Bash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but if you're going to make us play the old content, make us play the old content. Don't make us play old new rehashed. Well, no, we've got to put that in there.
Yeah, content. No, I know what you mean, because you were kind of limited, and I did say this after Solstice, that it did feel like I had to do the things that just had the Solstice banner on them to get the Solstice gear, and then when Solstice went away, I was like, oh, I'm a bit sad that I can't get that extra gear. But now that does free me up to play a lot more kind of nodes, because I was just focused on getting the Solstice stuff done to get the Solstice gear, and it was only in select things for the day. So yeah, I enjoyed that, but then I also enjoyed then the week after having the freedom to go and play whatever I needed to kind of go and play, or whatever I wanted to go and play to level up. It wasn't kind of as restricting as Solstice was.
Yeah.
But another avenue with Bonfire Bash would have been kind of, I think, welcomed. I think if people have got bored with doing the portal, bored with doing only the things that they said were highlighted for Solstice in the portal, and you had another avenue to kind of go and play, I think some people would have enjoyed going and playing that just as a nice, easy breezy kind of thing to kind of do.
Yeah.
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 I am also disappointed that we haven't got another map for heavy metal.
It's just the snowy planet.
It's just the snowy planet, yes. Europa.
My God, Europa. I can't think of anything.
You see, it's hard on a podcast, isn't it? It's really hard on a podcast to remember everything. Your mind goes, as soon as you start talking, you go, yeah, I'm shouting at the screen. I'm shouting at you. I know all the things. And then you get on the show and you're like, I know nothing.
Forgotten all the things.
Yeah.
All the things I knew that I was shouting at you. Yeah. And I am very guilty of that. I admit to that all the time. Like, while you guys are talking and I'm listening, I'm like, it's this. It's this. No, I'm telling you, it's this. And then
see, I normally have all my notes and, little prompts for like things to say, oh, I'm going to talk about this. And I miss out some things on those because I go, oh, yeah, if I say that, I'll know that I'm and then I completely forget. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
No, it all goes.
So your playtime's been very limited, as we kind of discussed. So
yeah,
you're looking forward to Ashen Iron coming up next week. Did you see the trailer for Ashen Iron?
I did see the trailer.
Did that give you some hope?
It gave me a little bit of hope, yes. It gave me a little bit of hope.
I will link it in the show notes for people to look at.
The only thing I've taken from the entire Ashen Iron thing is the fact that, Pit Harris is coming back. I just, I saw that and I was like, yep, no, that's it. I'm already sold.
But it's not all of Pit of Heresy.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So yeah, we're returning to the Plaguelands, which is the snow-covered destination from Destiny 1's Rise of Iron expansion. But it doesn't look like Seaver's going to be involved. It looks like we destroyed Seaver, we shut it in the vault, and there's still going to be some kind of remnants of what it kind of looked like in that area. The Fallen look like they're not going to be in that area at all. It looks like it's still going to be the Conductor's forces of the Vex and the Cabal. And it looks interesting. We've got a new exotic mission called the Warsats Heist. The dungeon layers are going to be added to the Pinnacle Ops. You've got the new activity called Reclaim the Plaguelands. The Iron Battle Axes are back as a relic. So, we have the Scorched Cannons and we have the Hive Swords. The Iron Battle Axe from Destiny 1 is kind of returning. And we can ride some brigs in PvE.
Right, that did look interesting. I was interested in having a go in a brig.
The thing is it just going to be limited to the Plaguelands? And
yes.
Or is it going to be something that they're going to integrate into maybe some strikes, especially on Europa, where there are brigs a lot of the time? And how do we get those brigs? How do we control those brigs? Do we just jump on the back like Titanfall, rip out whoever's sitting in there, throw them and jump in it and carry on? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll get them in the rest of it. I think it'll strictly be on that location that we can do it, personally. A bit like Matterspark, etc. Like we all.
Yeah, it's just tied to that location for now, anyway.
Yeah, I was really excited to get Matterspark, and I was thinking, the things you could do in Matterspark in like certain places, it's going to be so much fun having this new movement tech. And then they're like, but you're only going to be using it on Kepler, right? Nice, thanks. Sucks.
Yeah, you can use it on Kepler for now, but hopefully they do develop it further with the game going forward. There's no point in introducing a new ability that we can't then use outside of that area.
I'm always hopeful, I do hope that we get Matterspark outside of Kepler. And I do hope that, Kepler is basically just a learning ground, not just for us, but for Bungie. And that eventually they go, right, no, this does actually work all right. So we'll take this from here and we'll put it over there. Fantastic. I'm all for that.
Yeah. Now, do you think we're going to get the full Plaguelands, or do you think it's just going to be part of the Plaguelands? And do you think that it's going to be accessible via the Director or the portal?
Well, as they're bringing it back in Ashen Iron, I'm going to hope that it's accessible via the portal and that going into it is going to mean that we can pull out some reasonable equipment.
Because from where I remember it being, we could access it via the Cosmodrome in Destiny 1. You could go through an area and you'd end up in the Plaguelands, couldn't you? It was all a broken part of the wall that you kind of went through this kind of area of like trip mines and things, and you ended up in the Plaguelands. So they did build that into Destiny 1. But then I think maybe if we are separating stuff in the portal and what's on the director, and although we do have the Cosmodrome there, it may just be something that we fly to via the portal. We're going to end up with our own little world map in that portal. Kepler's there in that corner, but yeah.
I'm actually trying to think, even in Destiny 1, how did we actually get into the Plaguelands via the Cosmodrome?
You could just select to get there via the transmat zone, or you could literally walk from the Cosmodrome through the wall.
Could we? I can't actually remember. I'll take your word for it, though. I can't remember.
Just take my word for it. That's how it worked. It'd be interesting if they do both, that it's accessible via the portal and via going through the Cosmodrome, through the wall and things. I wonder how many people are going to go and have a look for the entrance to Wrath of the Machine and other things. I can't remember the name of the 3-player activity that we had in the Plaguelands. I could search it up. I could have searched that up before I even said it coming out of my mouth.
I was thinking about that. Do you mean the triggered public event that we used to be able to go into? And it was like a little room and you could have like 9 people in there. Do you mean that one?
Yeah.
You used to walk towards it, didn't you, in a little tunnel, and it was always like, if you squat down and you move real slowly forward, there's a higher chance that you'll matchmate with somebody.
Yeah.
Don't go on your sparrow, you move too fast and you won't matchmate properly. I remember all those sort of things going, oh my God, what did you call that? Kel Summit.
Archon's Forge?
That's it.
That was what it was called, the Archon's Forge.
That was it. That was one of the only places where you could get a level 400 ghost. Was that?
Yes, yeah.
Challenge of Elders.
Yeah, you could get the Stellar Impact Helm, Stellar Impact Gauntlets, Plate, Greaves Mark, or the Dream Eater Mask for the Hunters, or the Hadron's Gale 4 for the Warlocks. You get Saladin's Vigil Fusion Rifle, but not Forgotten Sniper Rifle in there, and then you could get the Questing Ghost Shell or the Pursuer Ghost Shell. Ghost Shells will drop at 400 light.
Yep.
Ooh.
I remember now. I remember farming it, you see.
Yeah.
Looking for my 400 ghost.
I wonder if that will still be something that is accessible, the Archon's Forge.
Yes. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about it. I thought, I need to remember that.
A couple of weeks ago when they were talking about stuff for Ashen Iron, and they were going over what's actually kind of coming with Ashen Iron, and they said that there was a 3-player activity which was redacted. I thought, and I think a lot of people thought it could be that. But then in the announced trailer, it's this Reclaim the Plaguelands as an activity. So I don't know if one's a 3-player and one's a 6-player.
It's a shame, really, thinking about it, that we've already got 2 of the weapons back that we got back from the Plaguelands. Because obviously we got Kvostov. That all took place within like the Plaguelands and the Cosmodrome, didn't it, when we built that? And then we got Galahorn back via the Plaguelands.
I think there was a mission, wasn't there, for that? Yeah.
You triggered it via one of the public events. But that's interesting, thinking of that as well. I wonder if we'll maybe get the Iron Galahorn skin back.
Maybe. I did like the black version of it. Looked really cool, the black and silver.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that'd be cool if we got the skin back for Galahorn by, like collecting the wolf heads and whatnot. If you remember, they were scattered around the Plaguelands, weren't they?
Yeah.
When you rebuilt it. It'd be interesting to see if
it's going to be interesting to go back there and see how much of it is explorable, how much of it you can kind of play as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because you used to be able to drop right down, and if you went right down into the depths of the Plaguelands, obviously you went into the
Warsat vaults and things, didn't you?
Yeah, you ended up in the graves, didn't you, where some of the Iron Lords were?
Yeah, And that could be tied to that exotic mission called the Warsats Heist. So
Yes.
that's that's going to be interesting and exciting to play. Which, if it's an exotic mission, that also means a new exotic. And I don't know whether that's the exotic that they were showing off at the beginning of the trailer in the Reclaim the Plaguelands. It looked like a Strand auto rifle thing or a pulse rifle. Don't know.
Is it bad? Because all I can think is if we get a new exotic, I'd really like it to actually be the Iron Axe. Not necessarily that self and same one, have that one as its standalone with all its fire and everything else.
Oh yeah,
But
as like an
give us
exotic heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a
Give us
sword, have the axe. I did
Yes.
see a YouTube thumbnail that had the Iron Battle Axe as an exotic, where it had the exotic background, it had the gold background. So I'm not entirely sure if they know something that I don't know about it being in a new exotic, or it is just kind of a relic like we had before. I'm just guessing that it is a relic that we pick up because that's the only way we were able to pick it up back in Destiny 1, but they could have changed it into an exotic, which would be interesting.
That'd be so cool. I'd be all over. If that's what we get, I'll be all over that. Like vinegar on chips. So excited. I've got myself excited. I don't even know if it's real.
So watching the video, it's from Kakis HD. He thinks it's going to be the new exotic because apparently there's an exotic heavy placeholder in the game. So
See,
it
exciting
could be,
times.
yeah, you could be right. It could be the relic. It could be an exotic. Do you think that's going to incentivize people to come back and play with this new expansion or update to Destiny 2? Or do you think it's going to be very short-lived?
I'm hoping it's, for myself, I'm hoping it's going to be, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to bring me back to play. I was trying to say the big word then. Couldn't say it. I ain't even reading it and I can't do it. I'm hoping it's going to bring me back to play. I really am. Because I miss the game, but I like I say, I just don't feel like it's rewarding. So I'm hoping that, by adding more things to the portal, that they do create, a better game for us to be able to play. Because it has definitely been a lack of content that's kept me away, because it was too repetitive on stuff that I've done too many times.
Did you not enjoy setting your own kind of limits for each kind of game mode and going in and going, well, I'll try this modifier and this buff and this debuff?
I did. It was great, but after doing it 5 or 6 times, it was still very much of, it doesn't matter what I change, I'm still looking at the same content. Even though how I played had to change, it was still the same thing I was looking at. It's as with everything, like when you play GMs and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like your weapons change and your boosts from your artifact change and everything else change every season, you know what I mean? But it's still, you're just going in and doing the same Grandmaster Nightfall, because there's only so many that can include, you know what I mean? So once you've done some of those GM Nightfalls 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it's the next season when everything changed and all, like you were using a different class and a different set of weapons and you had a different set of artifact bonuses because you had a new artifact. Yeah, cool. It's fun once or twice, but then it's like, well, it's still just the same Grandmaster Nightfall as it was last season.
Yeah.
I very much find that these are in that same proximity. I feel the same about.
So they can't just keep throwing challenges and triumphs at you to kind of get. You're not the kind of person that would thrive on redoing all the same stuff just to get those triumphs and challenges.
No, I just want to look at something new. Just give me something new now.
Okay.
That's why I wanted Kepler to be the main thing that we concentrated on for our pinnacle grind, as opposed to, the salt mines and stuff like that. It's just, we've got this new content, and it. To be fair, the content within Kepler, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed using Matterspark. It frustrated me at times because it was a little bit, dodgy to handle. but I still really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movement tech of it. You know what I mean? So I'd have happily have gone back and done that content harder and with my own modifiers and all that sort of stuff again because it was new.
Yeah.
Why put your boosts on that? Let us replay it. I mean, I know we can replay it, but let us replay that new stuff with all these cool new modifiers that you've given us, like Grappler and things like that. Maybe not Grappler, because Grappler's a little bit annoying. But Grappler's just in my mind, because obviously they've disabled it.
But what about the new Ultimate difficulty? Are you looking forward to that? Is something that entices you to go and play?
But no, because I haven't even remotely got to the power level to be able to play. I stopped playing. I only got to I think I'm at 264, 265, something
still
like
higher
that.
than me. Yeah,
nope.
And I've been playing constantly as much as I can, like the last 6 weeks. The kids have been on holiday, so
yeah, and I haven't played really.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, I mean, you did your big 24-hour grind to start off with, so
which I absolutely loved because it was all that new content, and even at the end of the 24 hours, I was like, "Oh my god, there's so much I still want to do." And there still is, but it's all on Kepler, and it's unrewarding.
Yeah, I have found that is that you go to Kepler, and no matter kind of the world tiering system, I was still kind of getting like 200 drops or drops that were around my power level. They weren't any kind of incentive to kind of stay there and do that. I was like, well, I've got maybe an extra 1 in Lite from doing this activity or doing this mission. But I need to go and play portal activities to then push my Lite up, Crucible, Solo Ops, Fighting Ops, Pinnacle Ops to get there.
Which is exactly why I keep saying, you need to put your boosts on Kepler, have people go and play this new content and feel that this new content is rewarding them. As it stands at the moment, there feels like there is no reason to go back to Kepler.
Yeah, Kepler, like a lot of the other destinations, should be the main focus even more because it is the main expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said yourself about when Witch Queen came out and it was this, it was that, it was the other. But you know what? When Witch Queen came out, we went back to the Throne World week after week after week after week after week because there was a reason for us to go back to the Throne World.
And I think because there were different kind of things that were in the Throne World, not like on a rotation like the Dreaming City, but like there would only be certain secrets that would come up on certain weeks that you'd have to kind of go back and investigate and do different things. And I don't know if there are things like that on Kepler. I haven't seen anything like that.
No.
But I think things like that would have kept people interested.
Yeah. There was even rotating collectibles on the Throne World. Do you remember the moths that you had to collect? They only turned up on certain weeks.
Yeah. And now they're available all the time. But you could only get some of those kind of you could only get the moths on certain days or certain weeks, and then some of those portals were only available for different weeks. So, yes, there were so many different things that you had to kind of, if you were interested in doing that, kind of going back and doing. So
yeah. Well, we had the event as well, didn't we? The it's still there now and it still rotates. Wellspring, that's the one. We had that, and every week you could go and you could play the Wellspring, and it was a pinnacle reward.
Yeah.
Where's Kepler's?
Well, it should be the Sieve, but
yeah, but it's just
it's a time gated thing that when you think that it's you've got to go and do it, it's like, well, I've now got to sit around for 2 hours and keep an eye on it. There's no kind of buzzer that goes off on the screen to say this is now available. I've got to actually mentally keep an eye on this. And then if you get pulled away for the half an hour that you're able to kind of go there and do it, you've then got to wait another 2 hours for it to come back up. So it is a little bit frustrating for that, because I think that is also tied to the exotic mission, that you have to kind of do that at some point for one of the exotic parts of the quest. So I was doing something. I was saying to Peroty, I was waiting for that to come up, and I was in the middle of doing something else with kind of getting one of those time turner pieces, and it came up, and I was like, well, I need to. I'm literally in the middle of doing this, and I know I've got half an hour to do that, but then I need to finish this. And by the time I'd finished that, I think I only had like 10 minutes of to go back to do the sieve, and then I got called away because I had to go and do something. I'm like, damn it, I've now can't do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's something that they may change.
It should have been that way from the get-go, I think.
Yeah.
You've got this giant new location, show off this new location. Don't show off your old stuff. Stop it. Move away. Let's forget about
Or
it.
slowly integrate the old stuff as the portal thing.
Yes.
And then I don't think people would have found that as a bad thing. Yeah.
If with Ash and Iron that have brought in some of the old stuff, but up to Ash and Iron, we'd had just like, go do this on Kepler. This is where you need to be because this is where all your major rewards are. This is all your new stuff. Focus on this.
Yeah.
That'd have been so much better. I think less people would have been mad about that because we wouldn't have been splitting ourselves in half. Like, what do we want? Do we want to go do these things on Kepler and get these weapons and do these side missions and increase our difficulty level on Kepler so that we can unlock those level 3, 4, 5 weapons? Or do we want to go and do this solo grind because, that's where his power level is? It's just silly that we were splitting two like this.
Yeah, no, the Portal Crucible is one of the most frustrating things that I've kind of come across that just makes no sense. Like we were discussing the other week with Mayhem, them saying it's up in the portal, but it wasn't up in the portal. It was just in the normal kind of Crucible on the director. And then this week kind of just getting kicked out of matchmaking for momentum control. I'm like, well, I wanted to play that because I knew I'd be able to play that quite well with the weapon that I wanted to use. You're forcing me to go and play control, but or go and play trials
as well, because then it's like you're eliminating these fun game modes from being rewarding for people.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to have 2 game modes over there and then the rest in the portal. It doesn't make not at all. They just need to take the Crucible node off the director and put everything put it in the portal if that's where we're going. Just
Crucible is one of your is meant to be one of your final things. They've always said this. Oh, it's where you go to test out your weapons. It's where you go to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Like people go and they grind for these weapons so they can take them into Crucible. Right, cool. Yeah. So why are we then excluding parts of Crucible?
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever because what they said that they didn't want to do is kind of create so many different playlists for people to go and play Crucible. But then when we had the final shape, we had like Rumble, we had Control, we had the 6v6 playlist, we had the 3v3 playlist, and then I think we had Labs. So we had about 5 different ones and sometimes Labs wasn't there and sometimes it was. But you had your kind of set ones that were there every week and they rotated. And now we've got like those 2 that are over still in the Crucible director and then the rest in the portal. So they've fragmented their playlists so that nobody wants to go over to the ones on the world tab. It's like, well, these are the ones in the portal. These are the ones that make sense. Just even though I think Mayhem was over there, I don't think I didn't play it the other week. And I think Perry even said when he was looking to see if it was giving powerful gear to play and he went and played it. It only went up to 200. I think even he struggled to find a match at that point because it was over there. It's like in the Forgotten Realm.
Yeah. And that's sad because Mayhem is so much fun.
Yeah.
It literally lives up to his name, does Mayhem.
I mean, looking at the rotations that we've had for the last couple of weeks. So we've had in the Crucible playlist on the World tab, we had Dominion and Elimination, which are kind of Trials Lite. Then we had Lockdown and Rift. So those are the 4 in the 3v3 that have kind of just been rotated for the last 8-9 weeks. And we've had Mayhem, Clash, Momentum Control, and Relic as the 6v6 playlist. And those have kind of been rotated for the like 8 to 9 weeks that have been available. But those modes haven't made it across to the portal. So although I'm not really a fan of Clash, I think we had a Cutting Edge Clash at one point. We haven't had Mayhem, and we haven't had Momentum Control, and we haven't had Rift or Relic. And what's really frustrating is that there were so many more game modes available when we had the final shape. and they would try different game modes as well. I can't find my my list of.
Please hold while he searches through his desk of scrolls.
So yeah, we've had like Supremacy, we've had Relic, Momentum Control, Rift, Mayhem, Zone Control, Scorched. We did have Scorched in the Portal, didn't we?
Yeah, we have had Scorched.
There was Survival, Countdown, Elimination, Showdown, 3v3 Rift. What else was there? 4v4 Lockdown, 2v2 Clash, Collision Slow version, all in the kind of the 3v3s. And then we had other things like Hardware Mixed, Hardware Supremacy, 4v4 Checkmate Mixed, just all these other little game modes. I mean, some of them did cross over, and we had Iron Banner variations as well, and then we had Heavy Metal as well. But it seems very limited to what we've kind of had and what's actually going on in the rotations just over in the World tab for Crucible and what we've got going on in the Portal tab for Crucible. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Like I say, I don't understand why the game's become so segregated, especially with things like PvP.
Yeah.
Such a large amount of your player base is playing PvP, and you're limiting it. Why? Just seems nonsensical to me.
Well, hopefully it does improve in the when we get Ash and Iron, and even more when we get Renegades. So we do have things to look forward to, because I think that's what they're kind of working towards. I know we're kind of giving them a little bit of ear bashing, and it is, I think, for about the third or fourth week in a row, and it's not because we don't like the game. It's because we love the game and we want to see improvements in the game. And yeah, you've had Donnie's opinion, you've had Peroty's opinion, you've definitely had my opinion. Now you've got Noble's opinion. So just throw it in there, Bungie, because we know you listen all the time.
The thing is it is obvious that it's because we love the game. I mean, if we didn't love the game, we wouldn't have the hours logged in it that we have.
No.
I mean, I've got 11,000 hours logged in this game.
Just in case the wives are listening, we don't say hours. We don't give time frames of how many we. No.
Sorry, I meant minutes.
We just say that we enjoyed playing the game. That's it. Nothing. Do not give away, and do not say any sites that give away. You know what I mean.
She's fully aware.
Yeah.
Mine's fully aware.
Yeah, yours might be, but.
But yeah, we wouldn't have this time that we've got in this game.
Yeah.
Playing if we didn't love it. But my opinion isn't coming from somebody that's just like saying F this game. My opinion.
You're somebody that logs in every single day of every week up until a certain point, obviously. That you've played it, you've enjoyed it, you've been here from day dot. Or even if you haven't been here from day dot, you've jumped in at a certain point and played it, and you stayed logged in each and every week, or you just come back and do something each week. You're there.
Yep, always here. And I just want my game back.
Yeah.
In the condition it should be in. But I just feel
or in a better condition.
Yeah. But I just feel like it's not been in that condition for a little while now. And it's not just since the launch of this new DLC either. I feel like it's been in a rough place for quite a while. But at the moment, it's just at its lowest point it's ever been at, personally.
Lower than Curse of Osiris?
Give me Curse of Osiris back.
No, I didn't mind Curse of Osiris, and I didn't mind anything else after that.
Honestly, I never understand why Curse of Osiris and Warmind get the hate that they get. Warmind was by far probably one of my favourite DLCs Destiny's ever had, because I absolutely loved going to Mars and playing Escalation Protocol, and the laughs that came with it when, the clan I was in at the time, when we used to just sit there for, 2 hours trying to find each other.
Yeah. Or you'd find a group or find somebody in that area and say, can you invite my friend in, promote them to leader? Because we want to we want to do this.
Yeah, and the amount of friends that I made via messaging people doing that as well, because it was like, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do that, but can I stay? Can I run it with you? Yes, not a problem. Come along, you know what I mean? Do you want a party invite? But we'll sit and we'll chat, you know what I mean, while we're doing it.
More things like that, Bungie. That's what we need. More things like that that force players to kind of be friends or
interact.
Force, just to get those interactions again.
Yeah. You know, and like I say, a lot
Move
of people
away from
hate
solo
on it.
ops.
Yes. A lot of people hate on it. But I don't get why. I honestly feel like the game was at its most social in those points. And I don't come online to game to talk to myself. If I wanted to talk to myself, I'd try have a conversation with my wife. I don't want to talk to myself. Hence,
but would you have liked to have seen something like Escalation Protocol be put into the portal? Things like the Menagerie come into the portal? Because I think things that have been away for such a long time, even things like from Curse of Osiris, that we had, I think it was those 3 strikes, the ones that you went through the portal and you did different versions of them. I think even those coming back as portal activities would have, because they've been away for such a long time, would have been a little bit more of a fresh kind of thing to play than what we've constantly had to play for 7 years.
I mean, I'd always love to see Escalation Protocol come back. I'd also always love to see Menagerie come back because I loved the Menagerie because it was very Leviathan-esque, and I don't know. I think that those first few years of Destiny, where we always seemed to have like a Leviathan raid going on of some description, or we had the Menagerie going on. They were my favourite points in Destiny 2. Like if I look back, they're like pinnacle my enjoyment of Destiny 2.
Yeah, I mean for Pinnacle, raid layers, why bring those back? Because they were separate from Leviathan. Just don't put us outside the Leviathan, just put us at the spawn location for the initial start of it. You know, you don't have to, like you did when you did Pantheon. So, you know, you drop everybody in at that specific location. So we can't go off and explore. We're just kind of locked to that area. Those 2 raid layers would have been fantastic to be put into the portal.
Eater of Worlds and
Spire Stars. Yep.
Yeah. Even the other one, what's its face, the third one, that was still a Leviathan raid, but it was like...
Oh, I love that one with Golran at the end, where you get the Tereber, the Crown of Sorrow. Yes.
Crown of Sorrow, that's the one. Even
that was such a short time that one was available.
Yeah. It was such a fun raid.
But do you think that if Bungie had recycled that content and brought it back into the portal, do you think there would have been uproar about it, or do you think it would have satisfied an itch of that it's been away for so long that players would have actually engaged in it and really enjoyed it, especially if they updated loot pools for it?
To satisfy an itch, right? Let's think of it, right? When Bungie said that the Leviathan was coming back as seasonal content, which you can remember, we had a season where the Leviathan, it was there, but it was all overcome with that weird growth stuff.
Yeah. Egregore.
That was it, Egregore. When it came back and we had that and we could go and we could explore and we could go to Bavers and we could go to Gauntlet and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? And we could go and we could explore the old Leviathan raid, but it was just not as the raid. People loved that. I loved being back on the Leviathan.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done an Egregore version of the raid. You know, at the end, you don't fight the robot Callus. You kind of drop down, and then maybe you have to fight something else. It just would have been
like an Egregore controlled robot Callus.
Yeah, could have been interesting.
Yeah, you know.
There were so many things that are kind of
so many things that they could do. But
I know Peroty says, what was it? The Sundial. We had the 6-player Sundial activity.
Sundial was fun.
What else was there? We've had so many 6-player activities that were introduced into various different seasons that
the Vex one that we had when the moon first came out, the first actual season we had.
Yeah. Where the
Undying.
big Vex portal opened up and they attacked and you had to take them out. And things like that, which is...
The one where Ikora built her Stargate.
Yeah. But I also think that if they wanted to kind of keep it fresh in the portal, rotate the portal stuff. I know that I think they kind of backed themselves into a corner when they had the challenges, because I thought that when they had, let's put data pads in Solo Ops, Pinnacle Ops, Fireteam Ops that you had to go and find, I was thinking, well, if they rotate these things, say they take out the Nightmare Hunt, or they take out the Empire Hunts and put Nightmare Hunts in 1 week, then people aren't going to be able to get them. But then they kept it kind of stale because they just had those things. I know it's only been for 8 or 9 weeks, but I think that's the problem, is that the portal wasn't rotating to do different stuff. We've got Nightmare Hunts, we've got Empire Hunts. You remember when we went to Tangled Shore and we did hunts on the Tangled Shore? So there were so many different hunts that they could kind of rotate those out, so they're not the same hunt each week.
Yeah.
And the same with the strikes. We had so many strikes, and the ones that aren't even in the playlist come back and be rotated in and out. I think if it had been something that was different each week and on a rotation, maybe, that people would have gone, oh, okay, this strike's going to be up this week. Let's get in there and play this one because this one's really fun. We haven't seen it for like 6 or 7 years. Might have been interesting.
Yeah.
But again, that's a lot of time and resources that they've got to then put into the game to bring those things back into this version of Destiny 2.
If they'd have had one of each hunt on a weekly rotation, as you're saying, there's 3 different locations, each with its own set of hunts. So if we'd have said, right, there's 3 hunts on each location, which I know there's more than that.
Yeah.
But that's 3 weeks we could be rotating, which means that it wouldn't feel as stale. Because, but I haven't done that one now for 3 weeks, so it's not quite that bad.
I mean, they are bringing back the Season of Plunder, those things that we did with moving the payload. I mean, they were very short missions that we had to do, but they're being put into the Fireteam Ops, which is interesting because if they'd have brought those back to start off with, rather than have some of the stuff that we'd been playing for 7 years, might have been interesting, because that would have given people a lot of hope of like, what else could they bring back to be put into here?
Yeah. See, but out of Plunder, again, and I mean, this is personal opinion, I'd rather have the 6-man activity than the 3-man activity back from Season
Going
of Plunder.
from the ship to ship, yeah.
Yeah. It was more fun.
Sometimes it was even very difficult, depending on the crew that you got.
Yeah.
But then if they brought that back, I'd have to bring back the pirate voice, and a lot of people didn't like the pirate voice.
I liked the pirate voice. I really enjoyed the pirate voice, so I
could bring back the pirate intro and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we need this week. We should have an AI pirate intro. There you go.
No, you can't get anything better than my pirate intro. Oh dear. Anyway, I think that we've talked the point to death, haven't we?
Yeah.
What Bungie need to do, what the community and a lot of kind of our listeners are clamoring for.
Yeah.
But we do have a lengthy Sandbox tuning preview for Ash and I to get through, and a TWAB, and anything else that we kind of need to talk about. Oh dear, Sandbox tuning. Let's dive into that one. Have you got your Sandbox tuning pulled up so that if I make a mess up, you can correct me?
Yeah, that's fine.
So Ash 9 is almost upon us, and they'll be returning to the playgrounds very soon. So the Sandbox team has been preparing a lengthy list of changes coming with our first major update, available to all players, with focuses on weapons, perks, exotic armor, and a handful of abilities. Additionally, they've got some tuning changes targeted for PvP combat within the Crucible. We have some global changes to weapon hipfire reticles. So various hipfire reticles and hipfire reticle elements have been updated with 3 goals in mind. The first is to make the reticles properly communicate the weapon's firing performance. The second is to tone down the visual complexity and or improve the visual of the reticle elements. And the third is to update the reticle elements to properly adapt to the changes of field of view, bloom, and auto-aim, which eliminates situations where they could overlap with each other and in turn allow them to move closer to the primary reticle. So we have the position of the perk active indicators, pips, charge meters, and Tex Mechanica horns now all adapt to size changes in the primary reticle due to the field of view, bloom, and auto-aim. Trinity Ghoul's active perk indicator has a unique positioning due to its split arrows behavior. The pips on the Vex Mythic class have been moved to appear underneath the reticle. Now, the pips, is that the little square boxes that we have every time you kind of get a kill, then you can charge up the Vex Mythic class? Because that's what I'm thinking the pips are.
I think so.
Okay. Because I think it also shows on the gun as well as on the screen. So I think that's when they're talking about pips. Okay, cool. Yeah, because they also say the Barodaiad's pips positioning is untouched in order to keep them aligned with the charge meter and the hollow sight. Monte Carlo's perk active indicator is untouched as well. Pips now have more simplistic visuals in order to lower the overall visual complexity. In addition, pips will now disappear completely unless you have at least one pip. Okay. The deterministic chaos pips are untouched and maintain their old visuals since their function is unique on this weapon. The curve charge meter now has the max charge indicator that horizontal charge meters have. Delicate Tomb, Jotun, and Salvation's Grip now use horizontal charge meters. A few weapons in their perk active states now use a different reticle that communicates their firing behavior more accurately. Grand Overture, Tessellation, Devil's Ruin, Chrysdethys 77K, and Touch of Malice. Lumina now uses the support hipfire reticle when aiming at allies when you have noble rounds. Support frame auto rifles, non-healing mode, now have a brand new hipfire reticle. Legendary Tex Mechanicus submachine guns, SMGs, if you didn't know, hipfire reticle now have horns. To maintain the consistent visuals and functional language for reticle elements, the pips on the Telesto and Traveller's Chosen have been removed and will be visible only using HUD buffs. Okay. Telesto only had like 3, I think, didn't it? For its new catalyst. Anyway, visually, machine guns and fusion rifles hipfire reticles now appear more consistently similar across all weapons within each archetype, regardless of input method. Vex Mythic class is exempt from this change due to its unique firing performance. Deterministic recoil. Deterministic recoil is the set pattern by which weapons shifts recoil direction when being fired, and it's something they're removing in Ashen Iron. We had a goal when we introduced this feature for players to be able to master their individual weapons, knowing just how it would recoil and being able to build to know exactly how it would perform. Now, remember Fallout plays really championing this because it was like on like shotguns, he was saying that they're all over the place and there's no kind of deterministic recoil for those weapons. It was quite hard to know how they would perform, but because they actually then changed it to say that, you know, this weapon would fire like this, or this weapon archetype would fire like that, it was a lot easier for people to understand how to control them. But it looks like they're going to walk this one back, and they will be looking to other options in the future. They're retaining the deterministic recoil on Vigilance Wing because they believe that deterministic recoil fulfills their goals there. Is that all weapons kind of going forward? Are you just removing it from everything, or is it just from Ashen Iron going forward on weapons there? Because I don't think they would go back and take it off of everything, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it works perfectly fine on some things, so why take it off to leave it with nothing to make it bad again to then say, well, we're going to work on a fix?
Obviously it hasn't been working how they wanted it to work.
But I mean, it hasn't been working that badly because nobody's really been complaining about it. Or have we just not seen people complaining about this?
Maybe we haven't.
Yeah, maybe.
So, weapon archetypes. Note they have a large balance pass on more families of weapons coming in future, with specific emphasis on the balance between special ammo archetypes and close quarter battle primary weapons. But there was some highly prioritized items that they wanted to pull forward. Heavy burst sidearms. Several patches ago, they increased the ADS full damage fall-off scaler of heavy burst sidearms from 1.2 to 1.3. While this has been beneficial for the rest of the subclass family, Forgiveness, the sidearm, is an outlier when it comes to the total stat package, and this increase in range has pushed it over the top. That's why lots of people were using it in trials the other week. I didn't know this. I should have been on board with the Forgiveness thing. Forgive me, Forgiveness.
You are forgiven.
Good. So instead of reducing the range of all heavy burst sidearms down, they've decided to target Forgiveness specifically to bring it more in line. Forgiveness, they're reducing the range stat by 15. Submachine guns, aggressive ones. In the days since Immortal reigned the Crucible, SMGs in general and the aggressive subfamily specifically have received multiple nerfs, leading to them falling far behind other CQB options in effectiveness. In the future, they plan to take a larger swing at increasing the SMG ease of use, But for now, they're going to be focusing on more target changes to the aggressives, which should allow them to better compete with sidearms and spreadshot hand cannons. They're going to increase the ADS damage fall-off scalar from 1.4 to 1.5 times. Spreadshot hand cannons. They are going to increase the damage versus combatants by 8%, adding a 0.1 second delay after firing before you can melee to prevent near simultaneous damage events, increase the pellet spread angle by 5%, and reduce the flinch dealt to players by 30%. Sniper rifles apparently have generally fallen by the wayside in Crucible all the time. Just don't bring them back. But they want to, so they're going to increase the ammo per brick pickup in Crucible from 1 to 2.
Excellent.
Yeah. There goes my head twice now.
Yeah. Not if it's me that's shooting at you. You'll be safe, don't worry. That wall behind
you winged me. You winged me. Yeah. But yeah, they want to start looking at bring them back up into power as well. So this is the first change for sniper rifles. Lightweight shotguns are also being currently eclipsed by their precision pellet brethren. So they're going to start narrowing the gap in the effectiveness between them. This is only their first pass, as they're still playtesting additional changes to give players a reason to run aggressives and lightweights in Crucible. So they decrease the pellet spread angle by 6%. Crossbows, because they're a thing in the game that I don't actually own, so...
Me neither.
Apparently, crossbow bolts now have a heavy ammo radar marker, visual only to the player who owns them. And they've updated the weapon tray icon, obituary, and kill feed to reflect the crossbar's unique silhouette. Exotic weapons. In Ash and Iron, they're going to be expanding their featured exotic weapon list with the following options, and they benefit from the artifact buffs and contribute to your score with the intent to add more diversity into loadouts. And they've also revised a few of these options to make them a bit more appealing. So in the kinetic slot, we've got Redacted. Well done. Redacted, you're going to be my primary weapon. Second, we have Mida Multi-Tool. And then third, we have Sturm. Energy slot, we have Trinity Ghoul, Buried Bloodline. And then heavy slot, we have Redacted, the Darcy, the Heart Shadow, Sleeper Simulant, and Tractor Cannon. So they're all going to be part of the featured list. Now, how do you feel about this featured list? Are you on the same page that I am? And it sounds like the same page that Paul Tassi is I don't mind the weapons being featured, but the armours. Why are we featuring armour?
I don't understand why either of them are having featured, to be honest. Like, exotics should just be across the board featured. They should always be relevant. Your exotic should always be relevant. It's an exotic weapon, an exotic armor piece. Why are we making it? It's not relevant. I don't get it. I don't like it. I think it needs to go in the bin.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you, and I think Paul Tassi did a video this week, which I think Renard highlighted that when Tassi's right, he's right, and I think he is right. I think exotic armor pieces make no sense to be featured because they're exotic. You should be able to use your exotics. Legendary stuff, feature it. Don't mind, but exotics are exotics. Like I think in his video he was saying that there's no exotic class items that are featured. Let's say no exotic. The exotic class item is not featured in the exotic featured list. So 90% of people's builds that are with prismatic are null and void because that's not featured, or you're hindering yourself if you do use it. So Anyway, apparently Mida Multi-Tool is getting a rework. It's a stat monster, but it's lost its exotic part of its weapon. So they're going to give it a new trait or update the traits for it. So the new trait is the Mida software package. Getting enough kills with the Mida Multi-Tool now provides various buffs and incremental PvE damage after retaining certain thresholds. So stage 1, you get 25% faster handling and ADS speed and 5% PvE damage. Stage 2, 15 range and stability, 5% PvE damage. Stage 3, 15% AA. Is that Alcoholics Anonymous? Aim assist.
Is that airborne?
No,
is it
aim assist. Yeah. Why not just write aim assist? I hate it when they decide to abbreviate things. 15% aim assist, magnetism range, 5% cone angle, and 5% PvE damage. Stage 4, shots detonate on impact. And kills with the weapon that have the Mida synergy intrinsic also grant progress towards these buff. So that's your Mida mini tool as well? Yeah. Primary ammo Mida synergy weapons grant progress at a rate on par with the Mida multi-tool. On death, you'll regress to the beginning of the previous stage. The radar while aiming functionality has been moved to the intrinsic. Catalyst replace no distraction with brand new catalyst. While an enemy is within close proximity and the Mida multi-tool is in hand, you're granted enhanced radar resolution and improved reload speed, 20 reload stat and 50% reload scalar. And this buff lingers for a few seconds once enemies are no longer within close proximity. And miscellaneous very slightly increased the movement speed bonus. That's good. Sturm and Dreng. The pairing fantasy of Sturm and Dreng is a unique concept. Though the output does not feel worth the requirement of 2 weapon slots, the slow rate of gaining overcharge slots would lead to maining Dreng until enough shots were stored, and then the requirement to use Dreng meant half or more of the time you felt like you were running an exotic. So they want to keep the pairing requirement, so we want to take a larger swing at Sturm as well as help the juice feel worth the squeeze. So Storm and Stress, rapid kills with Together Forever weapons within 3 seconds of each other now load an extra Sturm overcharge shot. Primary ammo Together Forever weapons load even more Sturm overcharge shots. Sturm overcharge shot bonus damage has been tuned. Previously, this was roughly 261% damage buff against all combatants and 78% buff against players. The new values are as follows: 260 against bosses, 280 against mini-bosses and champions, 300 against minors and majors, and 75% against players. In providing Sturm more opportunities to load overcharge bullets than ever before, they've reduced the maximum Sturm overcharge to 25. Prior cap of 99 was never realistic, and at the new limit, players are encouraged to use them as they have them far more often. Accomplice. In addition to the existing behaviour, final blows with Sturm overcharge shots now increase the magazine capacity of Together Forever weapons until death, capped at 100% of the base magazine. Catalyst. In addition to the increased stats, Sturm now has a brand new catalyst. With the catalyst, kills with the Sturm overcharge shots grant charges that provide 50% ready and stow speed scalar for Sturm and Together Forever weapons. 1 stack is consumed upon readying Sturm or Together Forever weapons, max 6 stacks. Miscellaneous. Lucky Pants now buffs the damage of Sturm overcharge shots, but at a lower than normal efficiency, 110% buff at illegal modded holsters times 10. Increase the Sturm ammo generation stat from 30 to 80, and they fixed an issue where the Sturm overcharge shots were not playing an impact in the visual effects that significantly increased the damage. A lens flare is now visible on opposing players and the Sturm in PvP while they have the active Sturm overcharge shot, so watch out. Ariana's Vow. Ariana's Vow was given a small visual effects adjustment to bring it in line with other special weapons in PvP. Again, it will have a lens flare that will be now visible on opponent players when the Ariana Vow is in play in PvP. Graviton Spike has been quite popular since the launch of Edge of Fate, particularly in Crucible, where its performance makes it clear its overcharge modes are a bit too easy to turn on. So they don't want to outright stomp it in PvP or PvE, so they're taking a small swing at it, and they're going to reduce the time to gain overcharge shots from 20 to 7 seconds, and reduce the time to gain temporal alignment catalyst buff from its infinite to 7 seconds. So hopefully that should bring it back in line. Terraba. Long ago, when zoom changed damage fall off distance, they reduced the zoom on the Terraba to stop it from being a menace in the Crucible. Now, that is no longer the case. They begin the process of walking it back and are now returning it to its original value. So they're going to increase the zoom by 16. Terraba with the Ravenous Beast active, in addition to the Peacemaker's damage buff, was proving to be an extreme damage outlier. So they want to make sure it stays very strong so that the high investment and need for close range remain worth it. But the top end combined damage needed to come down a bit, particularly to maintain the fair competition in our raid and dungeon activities. So they reduced the Peacekeeper's bonus damage while using Terraba with Ravenous Beast active from 100% to 70%.
Oh, I hate that. Every time they do a change to Terraba, the one thing I hate is the fact that you can't store it and get it back out without losing Ravenous Beast, and they never change it, and it's the only change I want to see.
Yeah, just be able to swap your weapon and still have what you kind of... A bit like we had with the perk on the Recluse. I can't remember the name of that one.
Recluse was the perfect one. The way Master of Arms worked should have been how Ravenous Beast worked, and the way Ravenous Beast worked should have been the way the Master of Arms worked.
And we know you listen, Bungie, so listen to what we're telling you.
Yeah.
Hawk Moon was given the same treatment as Stern by allowing paracausal shots to benefit from Lucky Pants. So Lucky Pants now busts the damage of paracausal shot, but at a lower than normal efficiency. So 50% buff at legally modded holsters times 10. New Land Beyond, the perk counter previously capped at 100 times, now stacks up to 999 for bragging rights only. Increased damage is still capped at 100 times. Lord of Wolves, they're going to decrease the recall for the Lord of Wolves damage versus bosses by 20%. Good, yeah, keep that going.
Okay.
Grand Overture, they reduce the total reserves from 58 to 48, and the catalyst, the Omega Strike micro missiles, no longer require direct hits for enemies to explode. Enemies killed by its blast radius will now also trigger the explosion. Queensbreaker.
That sounds good.
Okay. Have I got a Grand Overture? I think I've got a Grand Overture. Must have.
You will.
Yeah, I've got one of them. Queensbreaker. They're reducing the damage versus bosses by 8%, and they reduce the decreased charge rate via the combat site by 15%. Apparently, it's proven a reliable and easy to use option for consistent damage. So they're not happy with that, especially with their raids and dungeons and their boss encounters. So they're tapping it down a little bit. Okay. So we have many here. We've got Outbreak Perfected, Baradiad, and Hierarchy of Needs. These weapons are current significant outliers in terms of super energy generation, particularly during raid and dungeon boss phases. So because we've got the contest mode coming up, we're going to tap these ones down slightly as well. That's not what they say, that's what I say. Anyway, Outbreak Perfected, they're going to reduce the damage base recharge super contribution, slightly reduce the nanite damage base recharge super contribution. Baradiad, slightly reduce the damage base recharge super contribution of non-seekers, and they reduce the damage base recharge super contribution via taken seekers. Hierarchy of Needs, reduce the damage base recharge super contribution via guidance ring arrows. The Thunderlord. Apparently, they've discovered an issue with Thunderlord and its exotic catalyst, which was causing lightning strikes to refill more ammo than was required to activate it. So they fixed it. They fixed an issue with the Thunderlord's catalyst where it was refilling more ammo than intended. Or they're going to with Asher 9. Remember.
I'm not happy about that.
Whirling Ovation. Befitting its fantasy of damage phase prima donna, Whirling Ovation launched asking too much of players to really make the weapon shine against bosses. So these changes should allow it to shine in a variety of damage rotations while maintaining the promise that dealing more damage with other weapons will always result in the anticipation building faster. Increase the rate at which anticipation builds. A fairly optimized damage rotation utilizing Whirling Ovation should see the anticipation meter fill time decrease from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. Less optimized damage rotations will see more significant fill time decreased. So use it better, get better things. Use it poorly, you'll still get things, but at a slower rate. Good.
Yeah.
Weapon perks, Burning Ambition. Apparently they're happy with Burning Ambition, but they want to, adjust it a little bit. So time to activate the threshold reduced from 2.5 to 2 seconds. Enhanced time to activate the threshold reduced from 2.25 seconds to 2 seconds. The magazine base hits activation threshold reduced from 60% of the magazine to 55% of the magazine. Enhanced magazine base hits activation threshold is unchanged at 55% of the magazine. When calculating the lower of the above threshold, the perk no longer rounds down. Enhancing this now reduces the hits to activate by a flat 1 hit.
That makes no sense.
No, it does. It makes sense. It's sense to them.
But time to activate threshold reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. Enhanced time to activate threshold, so enhanced threshold, reduced from 2.25 seconds to 2 seconds. So there's now no difference between regular and enhanced.
No.
Okay. Providing that, we can both see that, and it's like, well, that's surely that's not right.
Unless it's meant to be time to activate the normal one from 2.5 to 2.25, and then the enhanced is 2.25 to 2 seconds. So maybe they've typed it wrong.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So where are we now? Enhanced perk improvements. When we were initially developing enhanced perks, they had a strong vision around what they could be. Now with the system implemented alongside so many new enhancement perks, we feel more comfortable revisiting some old perks and granting them better benefits. To align with their fantasies, they're trying to deliver more. With that in mind, the following perks have had their enhancement benefits adjusted. Dragonfly. They've removed the +5 reload speed and added 10% damage to the explosion. Welcome change. Cluster bombs. They've removed the +5 blast radius and added 10% damage to each cluster bomb. Very nice. Reservoir burst. Removed the +5 stability and added 10% to enhance shot damage. Magnificent Howl. Remove the plus reload speed and added +5% damage to each enhanced shot. Not sure.
Ouch.
We like that. It is an old perk, but maybe I'm thinking Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten there, but Eye of the Storm, they've removed the +5 stability and added 10% effectiveness to all Eye of the Storm benefits. Flash Counter removed the +5 inventory size and added 1 second to the disorient time. Chain Reaction, they've removed the +20 inventory size and added 10% damage to the explosion. That's nice. Yeah. Headstone, they've removed +5 stability and added a new benefit. Precision kills always generate a large stasis crystal. Chill Clip removed the +5 stability and added a new behavior. Players can create slow detonations from lower percentages of the magazine. Hatchling removed +5% handling and added a new behavior. There is a chance to generate 2 threadlings instead of 1. And weapon mods. Temporal Blast. As we updated the perk damage scaling with the explosions in the Edge of Fate, they missed updating Temporal Blast with this philosophy, leading to a number of instances where this mod provided a wealth of extra damage, particularly on explosive weapons. To make space for some of the other seasonal mods in the build, we wanted to bring this down just a little bit. This is only available for this season. I suppose it's still going to be available in Asher 9 because it's only a mid-season refresh. So we're still going to have access to Temporal Blast. So it no longer gains progress on splash damage and reduces blast damage impulse by 66%. Note these changes in tandem on the average increased shots to ready explosions by 1 to 2 trigger pulls. They also reduce the damage of the blast when caused by heavy weapons dramatically more than special and primary weapons, e.g. 75% nerf when it comes to using crossbows or rockets, but only 23% with rocket pulse. Fan? Not fan? Happy with that?
I don't mind.
Okay. I suppose because it's a temporary mod, so...
Yes. Yeah, it's not a full-time change, is it?
No. It's still extra damage for just putting that on there, so... Yeah, we'll go with that. Exotic armor tuning preview for Ash and Iron. We've got some featured armor being expanded on, and we talked about it earlier. We're not happy about featured armor, and you should walk this one back, Bungie. But who are we? We are just your players. We contribute lots to the game. So in Ash and Iron, they'll also be expanding the featured exotic armor list, and they benefit from the artifact buff, providing additional damage resistance and contribute to your score. So for Hunters, we have Young Ahankara Spine and the Frosties. Titans, we've got the Strongholds. Yes, my Strongholds are back in the game. Hazardous Propulsion. And then for Warlocks, we've got Chromatic Fire and Controverse Hold. But now, I was like, you're changing my babies. And I don't know why you're changing my babies, because I like my babies and I've used them for many a season now, and I've done all right with them. But they're going to rework my Strongholds. So this is the builds, or this is the exotic gauntlets that I like to use with my swords. And I always have, I've championed like the sword builds with the Titans, with the Strongholds for many a months, many a season. Going back to seasons before we had the episodes, I was rocking these. So for a while now, they've provided immense defense benefits, but for those benefits rarely prove to be valuable to players outside of a niche situation. But not for me. I've
seen them valuable in many situations.
Yeah, all the situations. So they're redistributing the power that the exotic provides to make the build crafting with it more interesting, doubling down on the tank fantasy to make moment-to-moment decisions more engaging. So Perfect Guard HUD buff now appears as a bar, and stacks no longer drop off 10 seconds after blocking damage. They persist until they are spent. Blocking large amounts of incoming fire gains stacks at a slower rate, while blocking lower amounts of incoming fire gains stacks at a faster rate. Landing a direct hit on a light or heavy sword attack consumes 50% of your Perfect Guard charge. exhausting enemy hits and instantly healing you and nearby allies. Landing a sword hit while at max perfect guard stacks will now fully refill your sword energy instead of offering infinite guard duration. This enables back-to-back heavy attacks or allows immediate ability to block again. Now that it fully heals you and nearby allies, it no longer grants restoration. I like my restoration. Gradually gain up to plus 50 guard resistance and 50 guard endurance based on the number of perfect guard stacks instead of the previous 100% guard resistance, meaning you'll be able to build craft with your sword perks a bit more to maximize your defense or offensive prowess. Okay. Gain 30% damage reduction for 1.5 seconds upon exiting sword guard instead of gaining ×4 while blocking. This is now a generic source of damage reduction and can stack with other sources of resist. Walking speed while guarding with a sword is now increased when moving in all directions instead of forward. That's a welcome change.
Bonus.
But yeah, I'm not entirely... I'll have to see how it goes. But I do sometimes swap off of using Strand because I do like my Banner of War with the Strongholds because it gives me that extra bit. And I do like getting the restoration with it because a little bit of solar restoration doesn't hurt on any swords that I'm kind of blocking with. But I'll see how this goes and I'll get back to you and let you know. Hunters, Soterachny's Facade. Woven Mail is a strong buff but without a means for regaining health. Strand Hunters struggle to stay in the fray. This change to the base exotic aims to increase some of that survivability while you're grappling around combat. So while Woven Mail is active, it will now return health on defeating enemies. Unintended patch note, Relativism. That's the
cloak,
exotic class item, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so while updating Soterachny's, they began to investigate some adjustments to the spirit of Soterachny to balance it a bit against other options on the exotic class item. So they've concluded that this change was premature, but they were unable to fully remove the change before the 9.1.0 was locked. So while they intend to revisit the effectiveness of this perk in the long run, they'll be rolling back the following changes to the Woven Mail timer in our next available patch. So Spirit of Soterachny, duration of the Woven Mail provides a reduction from 10 seconds to 6, and this will be reverted in our next available patch. So they've made a mess up that they've got to brought back, basically. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to put it back to 10 seconds, aren't they? So that's decent for hunters.
Warlocks, Chromatic Fire, is an exotic that ostensibly should be used with a variety of subclasses and weapons. But in reality, the current design is only useful on certain subclasses with a subset of kinetic weapons. So they're reworking it to be less dependent on your subclass to be useful and to be functional with all kinetic weapons. Yes, all. So detonation radius on precision kinetic final blows has increased by 36%. No longer applies keywords based on equipped super. Non-precision kinetic final blows also produce a detonation. The radius of this detonation is dependent on how many recent elemental final blows that the player has achieved. Okay. Controverse Hold. Controverse Hold should have been a big winner with the stat rework, but ultimately it failed to shine in the Edge of Fate release meta. So they're buffing the energy return.
Yes.
Tuning it by grenade type to be aligned with how quickly the grenade cooldown lasts, and giving it a bit of a buff by providing Weaken, freeing up some likely space in the fragment selection when using this exotic. So the charged grenade will now apply Weaken. Energy returned has been tuned per grenade type. Vortex grenades gains increase slightly, but can no longer activate twice. Axiom bolts, handheld supernova, and scatter grenade gains all receive moderate increases.
Yes.
Ability tuning preview for Ash and Iron. So we've already detailed a lot of stuff. Hunters, you're getting some abilities sorted out. Gambler's Dodge. They've rescaled the amount of melee energy generated by the Gambler's Dodge from 100% at a 70 stat point to 100% at 100 stat points. Okay, so you need to spec into it more, basically. Dodging near an enemy now doubles this amount, reduces the amount of melee energy generated in PvP. Note, the amount of energy generated in PvP has been reduced by only 20% in this patch, but in patch 9.1.0.1 it will be reduced by the full amount by 50%.
Woofed.
Yeah, because you've been naughty, basically. Lightweight throwing knives. They've received strong feedback that the lightweight throwing knives are frustrating to play against in Crucible, so they're reducing the damage versus players and will continue to monitor their performance. So they've reduced the damage, or going to reduce the damage, versus players by 16%. I did find that in Trials, I was getting one shot with those knives. I mean, they could have shot me with a weapon at the same time, but I was finding that the knives were doing the killing blow, and I was not liking it. General Woven Mail, in order to fix an issue with the Warlock's new Weavewalker behaviour, they're making a change to the Woven Mail application to make the duration no longer reset to the original Woven Mail source's max duration. Now, when you proc Woven Mail, the duration will be the longer of these two options. So the current time remaining or the new source's max duration. Stats, they're still working out some kinks in their new stat system, and they've made some changes to smooth out the experience. First up, we're making stats no longer increase damage against yourself. So stat damage bonus no longer increases self-damage. Melee and grenade stat damage bonuses no longer apply to melee and grenade damage done while in Super. Super stat continues to increase melee and grenade damage in Super. They've also fixed a technical issue that was causing the class stat to only increase to the benefits when you hit a multiplier of 10. So that was, if you were in between like the 10 stats, it wasn't actually helping. Finally, they've got a fix for the mods and perks that increase the player's mobility. And they've corrected an issue where the upper end of the mobility stat benefit was set too low, resulting in mobility boosts like athletic mods appearing to grant less mobility than intended. Whew, that's a lot of changes.
There is a lot of changes.
Yeah, coming this week. Maybe the day after you hear this, basically.
I'm not here for these changes at launch either, so I'll just get to listen to you all tell me whether they're any good or not when I come back.
We've got the Warlock buff coming, and then Hunters and Titan buffs will be coming later in our 9.1.5 October release. So keep the feedback coming.
I can't wait for Warlocks. So excited.
Oh, geez. So we've got lots of stuff coming with our Ashen Iron. We've got the Sandbox tunings, and it looks like it's affecting everybody, even me with my strongholds.
Yeah, but my controversials that I absolutely adore that have been rubbish for a little while now are getting changed, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But we are like over 2 hours into the show, and we've yet to talk about This Week in Destiny. And also, I've got to tell people what's happening next week with Ashen Iron as well. So, I'm in a quandary. What do I tell them? Do I tell them the stuff first, or I don't know. Shall I tell them what's happening next week with the supposed rotations of what's coming in Ashen Iron?
I think you should tell them what's hopefully going to happen next week in the rotations.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then we'll come back and we'll do This Week in Destiny.
Why not?
This is your weekly rundown for the Edge of Fate, week 9, starting on September 9th. The new update of Ashen Iron begins this week, as we embark on stopping the Conductor's forces by heading back to the Plaguelands, the snow-covered destination from Destiny's Rise of Iron expansion. This new update brings with it a new activity called Reclaim the Plaguelands. Pinnacle Ops will see the addition of 3 dungeon layers from Destiny 2's past, and a new exotic mission called Warsat Heist. The Iron Battle Axe relic from the original Destiny makes its return, and this time possibly as an exotic heavy weapon, plus the addition of Guardians being able to bring bricks to the fight in PvE. With this update, our seasonal reward track and seasonal challenges have been reset, bringing new rewards and new challenges. The new update also brings with it Ultimate Difficulty, which will be available when the new season launches, starting at 451 power. With Ultimate Difficulty, players will have 2 new stakes introduced into the portal. Pressure Cooker, which requires you to finish under the time limit or get kicked to orbit, and Extinction. All players are limited to a single life with no revives. These 2 new stakes are optional, and are intended to provide the most significant challenge to even the most experienced of Guardians, and include score boost and match. Ultimate Fireteam Ops matchmaking will open the following week. With the Ashen Iron major update, Bungie are also introducing a new way to acquire cosmetics from expired seasons and reward passes. Located in the town next to the Monument to Lost Lights, you'll be able to visit the Monument to Seasons Pass, aka the Seasonal Archive, the home of Archive Passes. These Archive Passes give you access to armour ornaments, accessories, and much more from their respective seasons or reward pass. If you owned a pass when it was first available, you will have instant access to the Archive Pass when they become available on the Seasonal Archive. At launch, all seasonal passes released up to and including Season 26 will be available. And before we get our hands on the new update, Bungie are doing a live stream for the new season Ashen Iron, and the next chapter in Destiny's story, Renegades. You can catch this on Tuesday the 9th of September at 9 AM PDT on Twitch. In the portal, Crucible Ops will be competitive, control, and a variant of Cutting Edge. Trials of Osiris returns at the weekend on September 14th, with other non-featured modes of 3v3 Dominion and 6v6 Clash found over on the Crucible Director. In the solo watch, we should still have Skywatch, the Salt Mines, the Conflux, Creation, K1 Logistics, and Caldera. In the fighting watch, we will have a brand new activity called Reclaim the Plaguelands, with 2 additional battlegrounds, Behemoth and Episode Echoes Core, 3 additional strikes of Hypernet Current, Insight Terminus, and Fallen Saber, 3 expeditions from Season of Plunder, Nessus, Cosmodrome, and Europa, with a returning episode Revenant Tomb of Elders. We should still have access to the strikes of Liminality, the Devil's Lair, Proving Grounds, Inverted Spire, and the Glassway. Battlegrounds Oracle, Foothold, Delve, and Conduit, Empire Hunts the Warrior, Technocrat, and Dark Priestess, Savathun Spire Offensive, Onslaught Widow's Court, and Midtown, with the Coil. And in the Pinnacle Watch, we are getting 3 dungeon layers: Pit of Heresy Beneath the Necropolis, Duality Nightmare of Goron, and Warlord's Ruin Heaven's Vengeance, plus 2 more exotic missions: Presage with the Dead Man's Tale exotic scout rifle being the main reward, the Season the Haunted, and opulent weapon sets, plus the Eidolian Pursuant armor set, and Node Override Avalon, with Excalibur exotic glaive being the main reward, and the Season of the Defiance weapon set. Returning in the Pinnacle Ops exotic mission should be Starcrossed, with the Wishkeeper exotic bow being the main reward, and the Season of the Wish weapon set, the Whisper, with the Whisper of the Worm exotic sniper being the main reward, Kel's Fall, with the Slayer's Fang exotic shotgun being the main reward, and Encore, with the Choir of One auto rifle being the main reward. On Kepler, featured mission 1 this week will be Quarantine, and featured mission 2 will be Message. For our Legacy rotation, the Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind One features Taken enemies and the Plague Inamina. The Ascendant challenge will be Ouroboros over in the Affiliates Rest Lost sector. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian and the Wandering Nightmare, Jax, Claws of Zevra Wrath, are both located in the Hellmouth. Nightmare hunts Crota, Despair, Fogoth, Fear, and Ghoul, Rage. The Altars of Sorrow will start this week's rotation with the Nightmare of Fogoth and the Blasphemer Shotgun. On Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. Days of Eternity Expert difficulty rounds are Hive, Fallen, and Valister Arc. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with Weapon Set 1, Arsenic Bite 4B, Blasper 2, Corsair's Wrath, Deafening Whisper, Dire Promise, Enigma's Draw, Escape Velocity, Giant 7 Rifle, Friction Fire, Royal Chase, True Prophecy, and Timeline's Vertex. The Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Ritual, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Wellspring activity will start the week on Defense, with Void Sniper, Father Sin, and Zurich Scorn Raider as the boss. The Lightfall weekly mission is Breakneck, the Partition mission will be Hard Reset, and the Vex Incursion will be Liming Harbour. In the Pale Heart, the exotic mission Dual Destiny is still available for teams of 2 Guardians, where you can farm the mission to earn as many new prismatic exotic class items as you like. The 12 Guardian Matchmade Excision mission is also available, with the Grandmaster version granting the Ergo Sun Catalyst and an Ascendant Shard. The Lost Sector rotation for this week will start with Veil's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome, Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City, Scavenger's Den on the EDZ, Perdition on Europa, K1 Revelations on the Moon, Gilded Precept on Neptune, the Conflux on Nessus, Extraction on the Throne World, and the Forgotten Deep in the Pale Heart. Also, with the Edge of Fate, all raids and all challenges are now available all the time, and at present there are also no featured raids or dungeons each week. The main ones available are the new raid, the Desert Perpetual, over on Kepler for tiered loot, and Dungeon Sundered Doctrine, which can be found over in the Throne World, with the exotic linear fusion rifle Finality's Ager up for grabs. The exotic mission rotators should be Operation Ceres Shield, with the Revision Zero exotic pulse rifle being the main reward, the Season of the Ceres weapon set, and Ikelos weapon set, with the Warmind's Avatar armor set. The exotic missions, the Whisper and 0 Hour, will also be available in the Legends tab. And that's it for the first week of Ashen Iron. So we're back with This Week in Destiny for the 4th of September. So, full rundown of what they're going to be discussing in the TWAB this week is Ashen Iron next week, fresh portal loot, trials rewards, portal buffs, portal rewards improvements, dungeon layers, featured gear for renegades, world's first update, release date change and streaming requirements, patch note previews, I think we've already done the patch notes, voice acting update, humble choice, and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with us. So Ashen Iron launches next week, and they've got a developer live stream just before. It's normally about an hour beforehand, isn't it? So join them, join Bungie, September 9th at 9 a.m. PT, which is normally around 5 o'clock UK time, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, there are 8 hours difference in there.
Yeah, so they are going to be talking about Ashen Iron and Renegades. So this is the Star Wars crossover collab thing. Yay!
Boo! Boo!
Shush! You'll get your Star Trek one someday. Technically, you've got it now. We have our little communicators. We beam up and down. It's literally Star Trek already. You've already got that. Just not in name.
Star Wars out of it then.
You'll be fine.
Boo! Star Wars.
So yeah, just before we get Ash and Iron, when the game goes down for maintenance, you can watch them on Twitch, and they will be telling you all the stuff's coming. So if you want to keep up to date and want to kind of see what's kind of coming, and they'll probably go through. What the events are, what the exotic mission roughly is, and the new dungeon stuff, and so it's all going to be exciting stuff, especially for Renegades. Then also in the TWAB this week we have the Ash and Iron major update trailer, which I have also linked in our show notes. If you watch them on Twitch, you can get the Knights of Old Emblem. So only 15 minutes. You have to. So you could tune in for like the first 15 minutes when it's kind of counting down, and then go, no, I'm out because I don't want to know anything, or put it on in the background, turn it down to 0 volume. So if you don't want to actually hear anything that's going on, and get the emblem, make sure that your Bungie account is linked with your Twitch so you can get the drop in game. Looks like a pretty cool emblem.
Doesn't it? I'm going to have to try and remember to do that, but I'm not here. I'm away next week. So whether I remember or not is a completely different matter.
Well, they heard that you were away and they thought, we're going to update the portal while he's away so that, he comes back and he's not going to moan. So previously announced reward buffs coming on September 9th. So as a reminder from last week, they're making portal reward buffs based on your feedback, sir. Just yours. Lots of buffs. Excellent. So several fireteam ops activities will have increased the number of drops. Activity timers have been rebalanced across the board. Players will have the chance for prime engram drops per portal activity completion rewards. The portal timer bonus earned will grant 5% minimum score. Conquest will become replayable. Your account's highest power will be used for reward scoring. And additionally, the Desert Perpetual Raid will have the following: weekly challenges for additional power of progress, improved gear tier drops, and gear attunement added. And they want to mention the increased chance of earning prime engrams on activities completed in Crucible, and increase the bonus focus drop rate from 25 to 66% in Crucible.
That's a good change.
Trials is also getting some rewarding rewards. So if you haven't heard, they're bringing back a weekly featured weapon for Trials. This will bring PvP gear to parity with the PvE experience and provide opportunities for players to focus their efforts on acquiring specific pinnacle PvP gear. Yeah. So the Trials weekly featured weapon can be acquired with each visit to the lighthouse and will have the chance to drop in addition to all the pre-existing rewards when completing a match, win or loss. The drop chance varies depending on grades, with a C+ scaling to 20% and an A+ scaling to 60%. They're going to share more details in next week's TWAB.
I might actually end up playing some Trials at that rate.
Trials was actually quite fun this week. I once you kind of get past the initial first couple of games of getting beaten lots and actually start getting into a winning streak and actually getting teams that seem to work cohesively with you, I was trying to do the challenge where it says you had to win 20 rounds. And initially it was quite hard to kind of do. So I was doing that. And then I just stayed in the playlist and I just swapped my weapons to do those other two challenges for Solo and Strand. And I found it quite fun. It's just like, okay, I was using Fang of Ute and I was using, what was the sidearm I was using? And my Brigand's Law. And I was like, I'm going up against people that, are fully stacked in their Trials gear. They've got all the new weapons and things, but I'm still doing quite well in an old kind of sandbox way. So, it wasn't too bad.
As you always say, though, you've said this lots of times, what's one person's meta is another person's absolute nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes you're always going to be better with a certain weapon type. And you do always seem to play very well with a scout rifle in your hands, especially a fast-firing scout. Yeah,
I do. I was missing. I had a Fang of EU that was really good, and I think it had the sword perks on it. The cross sword. sword logic on there, and I think it had killing wind on there. But I was missing one weapon pattern to go and get to be able to craft it. And I thought, I want a crafted version. So I loaded up the Traveller's Chosen on Twitch, and I think they're permanently linked in our show notes. So you can go into their Twitch chat and you can search for a checkpoint in the raids. So I was able to search for Crota's End, the Abyss, to just kind of go and get the chest that's in the doorway. And I put in, my name and all the things, and it came up literally straight away, and I was able to jump in, go and do the Abyss. I didn't get the weapon to start off with, and then I came back out, changed character, and I thought, well, I'll copy and paste, do it again. And I loaded in again. It was really, really quickly. At the moment, I think because it's a very low weight to get into some of these checkpoints in the old raids, if you want to kind of just go and get a chest, or you want to kind of whatever you can kind of get from those checkpoints, then it's worth doing it now at this point in time. So check out our show notes because the link is in there. But I was able to get one to drop on my second character, then go and crafted it, and I got one with precision instrument and keep away, and I was quite happy with that. So I think arrowhead break, ricochet rounds, and it's a monster. 47 range, 56 stability. I put a count and balance mod on there, so it's got a recoil direction of 94. Really good fun to use.
And you can now craft it.
So that's what I did. I crafted that one. Anyway, let's stop talking about me, because I know I like talking about me. Let's get back to the portal buffs coming in 9.1.0.1. So a number of buffs they've been working on will be rolling out through the launch of Ashen Iron, with a handful of targets the next patch. Destiny 2 update 9.1.0.1. And here are the changes heading towards this next patch and the work in progress info that you can share about them. So they're removing some mods from the matchmaking portal experience. So some mods could stack in ways that they were enjoyable for most players or become overly difficult for match-made environments. They will still be available for mod selection when customizing your own portal activities. So as you hinted at earlier, those mods are Grappler, Hypercritical, Oscillation, and Match Game. And they're creating a more consistent power reward experience for the upper power climb. So from 500 to 550, earn an A or an A plus grade to get a +1 power on your activity completion rewards. This change will also be in effect for A grades in the 400 to 450 power range when Renegades launches, so not in Ashen Iron, but later on. Note with the launch of Ashen Iron, the power climb from 400 to 500 will be naturally accelerated by the power cap increase to 550. Also note that they expect this change to positively impact PvP rewards, and they'll be monitoring the PvP experience to ensure this. They're also improving the Fireteam Ops rewards. They've identified opportunities to improve the nature of rewards experienced from many more activities within the Fireteam Ops, and they're rapidly aligning on plans and will share them more details in the future. But there's a new reduced gameplay penalty when running out of time in the Grandmaster difficulty in the portal. The GM difficulty portal activities will no longer zero out revives when you hit the time limit. Note that revives will still zero out for GM conquests. New, make a tier 5 reward easier to earn in the portal. So from 450 power onwards, platinum or diamond reward packages earn a score of 1,250,000 or more to guarantee a tier 5 drop from your activity completion rewards. To confirm that you'll be able to earn tier 5 rewards before launching your activity, added modifiers and increase your reward score forecast until it shows a picture of a tier 5 engram and a score of 1,255,000 plus. As you go up in power, you'll be able to earn tier 5s with progressively lower grades. Example, at 500 power, you'll only be required a B plus for tier 5s. We know our work isn't done, and they have more changes planned for the future. There you go, Noble. They've got more stuff planned for you, just for you.
Well, it's a positive change, isn't it? So let's hope it's enough. I mean, we'll see when we get it in practice. You know what I mean? But
so we were talking about the weapons in the sandbox changes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at this.
Look at this. They've done a thing. So, with all the above changes to how you earn rewards, they thought there'd be a great time to introduce new rewards coming in the major update. So check out next week's stream to see some in action. So weapons, shared pool, Mida mini tool. revised lightweight submachine gun, which is going to be solar. The Drang, with revised adaptive sidearm, which is solar. And the Hiatus, is that Hiatus? Hiatus is a high-impact rocket launcher, which is going to be Strand. Maybe that was the one in the trailer.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Burden of Guilt from Trials of Osiris is an adaptive fusion rifle. And the Ever-Burning Glitz is a rapid-fire auto rifle, kinetic. Iron Banner, because we're getting some Iron Banner with Ash and Iron. Finite Impactor is an adaptive hand cannon, solar. Pinnacle Ops, Force Memorializer? Yeah. Force Memorializer. Precision Scout Rifle, which is kinetic. Seraphine Haze is an aggressive submachine gun, which is going to be stasis. Solo Ops and Fighting Ops, you get redacted. Crucible Ops, redacted. So yeah, they've revisited the Mida Mini Tool and the Drang. So not the Drang broke or the Mida, the Callus Mini Tool.
Callus Mini Tool. I was just going to say, I wonder if they're going to put a new loot pool on them. Perk pool.
But yeah, there'd probably be a new thing. So yeah,
I hope so. It'll be better.
So yeah, at least legendary versions that are brought up in line. So you can use your old ones or you can use the new ones. Armor set bonuses: Solo Ops and Fighting Ops. Smoky Jumper Armor Suit. Set bonuses: Despairing Soul set. 2-piece, Ride Together, Die Together. When you pick up an orb of power, gain a brief period of rapid decaying damage reduction. 4-piece, too old for this. Defeating a powerful combatant with a finisher grants you special ammo progress and replenishes a small amount of health. Other new armor suits: Crucible, redacted. Iron Banner, redacted. Raid, redacted.
This is the interesting bit.
Oh, okay. This bit is... Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that bit was interesting. Okay.
No, I don't care about that.
So, new in the Pinnacle Ops, Dungeon Lairs. So, very similar to how we had when they brought the Pantheon. It was just selected parts of the raids, wasn't it, that we got to play. With this, it's going to be selected versions of 3 dungeons. Dungeon Lairs are their way of bringing dungeon encounters into the portal through our Pinnacle Ops offering, and they'll be available to all players looking for a challenge. The encounters will be familiar, but have been updated to work within the portal's modifiers, scoring systems, and portal loot. The 3 dungeon layers being added to the Pinnacle Ops in the portal are Pit of Heresy, Beneath the Necropolis, Duality, Nightmare of Goron, and Warlord's Ruin, Heffin's Revenge. But wait, there is more. For 2 weeks starting in Ash and Iron, so that's the 9th of September to the 23rd of September, they're making all 3 of the original dungeons available to all players. Once this period ends, the dungeon layers for Pit of Heresy, Duality, and Warlord's Ruin will remain freely available in the portal, but the original OG ones are obviously going to be available, I'm going to say, on the World Director locations that you can go to if you don't actually own the expansion that kind of goes with it. So for 2 weeks, you can go and play them. So if you'd prefer to farm dungeon-specific loot to fill out your collection in the portal, you can customize dungeon layer activities to toggle the new boon modifier, Classic Collector. This modifier will ensure that legacy dungeon rewards will drop in addition to portal rewards. These will be available to all players during the first 2 weeks of Ash and Iron, after which players will be required to purchase the corresponding dungeon key to earn more of this loot, unless you farm it intensely for those 2 weeks and you get all the loot and you're out. Please note that the legacy rewards will lack season power and gear tiers, and they are purely additive. So that's exciting for you, is it? And how do you think this is going to work? Is it going to work very similar to how we had with the Pantheon? Is it you dropped into Pit of Heresy, you play that bit of Pit of Heresy, then you dropped into Duality, you do the bit of Goron, and then you finish off with Warlord's Ruin?
I think so.
Or do you think they're all going to be separate ones?
But I'm not sure if it isn't just going to be boss fights either.
Well, the Beneath the Necropolis is that first bit where you're working out the symbols and standing on the platforms to open the door.
Yep.
And the Nightmare of Goron is I think it's the first encounter?
Depends. I mean, you want to class it as the first encounter, realistically. Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Suppose what I
where you
sort of think.
Go between the two different realms and ring the bells and come back and get the symbols.
Yeah.
and then Warlord's Ruin is the final boss.
Final boss, yeah. It reads like it's going to go in an order.
Well, it reads to me that it's 3 separate dungeon layers just being added to the Pinnacle Ops, and you can pick to play each one, and it's however long you can how long's the piece of string, what the modifiers you put on there, how long it's going to be. But
yeah, I'm just hoping it's not going to be like you load into the Pit of Heresy, and it's just you do the beneath the necropolis part, and then like when you collect the chest at the end of that's it. It's done.
I think it might be.
I'm more hoping that you collect the chest and then it says, right, off you go into duality.
Yeah, you pick up the flag and it transports you to the next bit, kind of thing, like it did with
like it did with the Pantheon. But it reads more like you're just going to load into the Pit of Heresy. You're going to do the opening section, and then that's it, job done.
Yeah,
but I don't want it to be like.
I know you don't want it to be.
I want it to be like a 3-stage dungeon, not just sections of the dungeon. I don't know if what I'm trying to say is making sense here.
No, I know what you mean. You want it to kind of all play in one long thing, so that it's a different version. It's not a full raid, but it plays like it's a full raid. So you're doing the beginning, the middle, and the end, all in one thing. Yeah,
as opposed to doing one out to orbit, doing another out to orbit, doing another.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, we'll see what it is.
Yep, that's all we can do with it.
But this next bit is the bit that I was kind of alluding to with you for kind of the gear stuff and later on. So in Ashen Iron, Fireteam power will no longer adjust your score when you're below 300 power. So this means that playing with friends who are at lower power than you will improve their rewards, allowing access to tier 2 gear. A discard action has been added to the portal engrams when in the Postmaster, allowing them quicker dismantling if desired. So that's quite cool because sometimes it required you to go back to the Postmaster to pick them up.
Yeah.
But when Renegades launches with update 9.5, featured gear. When Renegades launches, all legendary gear from Season Reclamation, the Edge of Fate, and Ashen Iron will be included as part of the Season Lawless featured gear. In other words, legendary gear currently with the teal featured gear background marker will continue to be marked as featured gear next season.
So we're going to get 2 seeds. We're going to get 2.
So you're going to get a whole year's worth, and then I'm guessing they'll probably reevaluate it come like July.
Is that how long it is? Is that how long
a year is? Yes, that's how long a year is from release to release.
No, but is that how long we're going to go to when?
Yeah, Season Lawless. When that.
That's the 3rd release, isn't it? Not the 2nd. Never mind.
Well, no, it is the 2nd, but the Ashen Iron is the major update, which is still sort of part of the 1st season. It's really weird how they're working it out, but in their communication, next week is
Season Renegade, haven't we? Then Season Lawless.
No, Season Lawless is part of Renegades.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Ugh. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not Season Ashen Iron. I'm sure it's still Season Reclamation, but the Ashen Iron is the major update.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Made it all so confusing doing all this.
They've made it confusing, yeah. Oh, geez. So, yes, everything that you're kind of earning from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, Reclamation, all up until the point of we get to December when Star Wars season starts, all of that stuff is not going to be obsolete now. It's all going to be relevant going forward, at least for another 6 months. And then they might do is they might say everything from Renegades up until it's like from December to December is relevant, but anything that you got from July to December, like now, when we hit the new expansion or whatever it is coming in July, if there is one, that will be obsolete. So you get a year's worth of use out of it.
Yeah, which is all right. I don't mind that.
It's got the noble seal of approval there.
Well, I can deal with a year. It gives you more time.
You say this, and a year goes pretty fast, especially when you're playing Destiny.
Well, especially when you've got children as well, man. But it's still, it gives you more chance to actually do things, doesn't it? For the people that don't have, all day to sit and play Destiny.
Yes, it's a welcome change, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, all new exotics from Season Reclamation will be included as part of Season Lawless featured gear. The new gear bonus will change for the Season Lawless artifact, though. Starting in Season Lawless, the new gear bonus will be a flat bonus for all featured gear. It will no longer be tiered as it currently is in Season Reclamation and will be a max 5% damage for weapons and max 10% damage resist for armor. So are we happy with that change?
Yes.
Good.
Very happy with that change.
It's nice that it can kind of be carried over as well. But
yeah,
it says all new exotics from the Season Reclamation will be carried over, but it doesn't say all the featured exotics will be carried over. So, yeah, because it says all legendary gear from those from Reclamation, Edge of Fate, and Ashen Iron will carry over, but it doesn't say the exotics will carry over. So they might change some of the exotics to be featured again, or they may just scrap it, depending on how much Paul Tassi hounds them.
I don't like Paul Tassi. I think he's quite annoying, but at the same time, I do like the voice he has within Destiny. It's very much it's a
I think it's because he comes as a player as well.
It's a sensible voice. It's not an idiotic. I spent 36 hours of my 24-hour day playing this game, and I want X, Y, and Z. It's very much it's a down to earth voice.
Yeah, but we do have an update to the Epic Raid coming. They've changed the release date and the world's first streaming requirements for it. So in an effort to provide a stable and high quality experience, they have made the decision to delay the Epic Raid by 1 week. This activity will now ship on Saturday, September 22nd, and the world's first race will begin at 10 a.m. PT. Contest mode will be achieved through September 29th, ending at 10 a.m. PT. They understand that this may create challenges for some in their schedules, and they apologise for the inconvenience. Their highest priority is to ensure a fun, smooth experience, not only during the raid, but for all players who wish to take on contest difficulty, or play the Epic Raid once the normal version has become available. Additionally, they've created new rules for the upcoming World's First race, including a list of streaming requirements. These requirements are both for verification purposes to combat cheaters and to improve the overall viewing experience for our players watching streams. We will use this race to test out these requirements, and based on the outcome of player feedback, we'll be making additional changes to these rules in future races. So, the following will be required if a team wishes to be in contention for being world's first. Streaming is required, but only one member of the 6 fire team members has to stream. The stream must be on YouTube or Twitch. The stream must be set to video on demand. If the team member wants to hide a portion of their screen, they must use an overlay provided by Bungie / Destiny the game and cannot use additional overlays to block other portions of their stream, even as a joke. Note, this stream overlay will hide portions of their screen during the competition. Expect this to be published in the coming weeks. It may be edited to add your branding or face, but no additional gameplay content may be covered. If you wish to compete yet have no desire to cover your screen, awesome, but don't worry about it. The team member who streams cannot black out or hide their screen or portion of their screen outside the provided overlay. The game audio must be on at all times, but players may mute their voice audio. And they'll have a submission form ready to share in next week's TWAB for you to share your streaming info if you plan to participate in the race. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing? Because I've seen a lot of people moaning about it. It's like, I think the thing is that people that this Epic Raid and these contest modes are set up for are the people that are majority of streamers or can do the streaming. I don't think these days it's set up for kind of Joe Public to kind of do. And if Joe Public want to do it, it's not that hard to set up streaming to whatever.
No, it really isn't difficult. And the other thing is you know what? Anything that stops all this current
cheating,
argumentativeness that's going on online as well, and this hate towards a lot of the Destiny 2 community team.
Yeah,
because they are getting so much flack at the minute because of people that have been banned that say like, I wasn't cheating, I wasn't doing this, I wasn't doing that, I wasn't doing that. You know what? I don't care. Like, in my opinion, if you were banned, you were blatantly doing something that you shouldn't have been doing. Rest of it, don't care about. Stick to the rules, stick to the terms of service, just play the game normally, and you know what? It wouldn't happen to you, would it?
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like these are massive requirements. You know what I mean? Like you say, the stream is really easy to set up. To stream on Twitch, it's so ridiculously easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You know what I mean? On a PlayStation, you just link your Twitch account to your PlayStation.
At least you can do that now, yeah. And Xbox is pretty simple as well.
Yeah, Xbox is pretty simple. I do it on the PC.
But I think it's people on PC, isn't it? That might.
Yeah, it's all pretty simple. If you don't like what's being asked of you, then
don't do it.
Part.
Exactly. I did see a video from Lucky 10p today that Bungie had banned some cheaters, and this one cheater said, I've unbanned myself. I've got software that can unban myself, and I can get in and I can still play the game. And it's like, it's really worrying that if that's the case, that people can still get back on. Because I think when Lucky was looking at the video, it was like, well, he's got the world's first emblem, and he's a cheater. So, and he's still playing the game now. You know, he's got a video of him still playing the game even after Bungie said that he's banned him. So hopefully it's something else that Bungie can kind of crack down on. But yeah, and unfortunately, it does seem to just be PC players. I think if we'd have stuck to just doing PlayStation and Xbox, might not have been too much of a fuss.
I've said this for a little while. The worst thing they did was put this game on a PC, but a lot of people disagree with my opinion there. So.
I mean, it's lovely, it's smooth, it does all those frames, it does all the fast things, but then you open yourself up to a lot more interference.
Yes. Yeah, hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not bumped into any sort of issues on PC, whether I've been on LFG or anything, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that people won't. I haven't.
No, it's one of those things, but yeah.
You know, if you go looking for trouble, you'll find it, won't you?
Yes. So yeah, submission form coming next week in the TWAB, and that's that. But Destiny 2 update 9.1.0 patch note preview. In addition to all the other additions that are coming, they want to highlight a couple of things. The shooting range now features customizable difficulty features from the portal, including access to the most of the same modifiers available on a given day. They've updated portal scoring and grade info in the post-game Carnage report screen. Banshee will again be offering the quest to acquire the catalyst for Tommy's matchbook. Lobby balancing in trials will be disabled. They fixed an issue in the duality dungeon preventing players from being teleported to the Nightmare Realm when playing on Master difficulty. Trials special ammo meter has been increased. More details next week. We're going to be updating the selectable modifiers saving part so that when you repeat an activity, it'll save it and reapply the modifiers that the user uses or you selected. So you can just play the same thing over and over again without having to reselect your modifiers.
Yeah, that's a bonus because it was a little bit annoying when you were going in and out of the same activity.
Yeah,
I did quite a lot of whisper missions, and it was slightly annoying that, you know, like every time you came out of it to go back into it, it'd take you another minute to set it up again to go back in. I know it's only a minute, but it's just like, oh, come on. Can't we just save this?
Nope. But you can now. Oh, coming next.
Which is nice.
Coming next week, this week, whatever.
This is nice, though. I'm happy to see this.
Yeah.
The voice acting update. It's nice to see that we're getting...
Oh, nice to hear. Acted. Nice to hear. Not see, you're hearing.
Well, no, I'm seeing it because I'm reading it off the Twid. I haven't heard it yet.
You're going to hear the performances.
Yes. It's nice to read that I'm going to hear these changes.
Yes. As of next week, with the launch of Ashen Iron next week, the original English voice talent for Ikora, Orin, and Joma have returned with newly recorded lines for their characters. And they're also excited to share that the French and Spanish voice actors are in the process of recording the lines, and they expect to ship out when Destiny 2 Renegades launches later this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the temporary performance for those characters because of various different things. I think it was the strike, wasn't it, that was going on that Peroty was telling us about? Because we don't know what's happening over here. We're oblivious in England.
Yeah, well, you know, we don't care enough.
No.
But it's going to be nice because like the entirety of Edge of Fate, when I was playing it, it was like, yeah, I really liked getting this input about Ikora through the story, but it really annoyed me at the same time because Ikora didn't sound like Ikora.
No, yeah. It was a little bit off-putting, but that if you play through it in Ashen Iron, it will sound like Ikora.
Yeah, which would be nice, because I won't be playing and thinking, wow, Ikora sounds a lot like Savathun.
Or does Savathun sound like Ikora?
Ooh, who knows? But yeah.
But as we had last year with a Humble Bundle, you can sign up for this year's Humble Bundle and you get the Destiny 2 Legacy Collection. And this is a bundle of all the game and the expansions all in one. And I think last year I did actually purchase this, or the year before I purchased this. And you can purchase the collection up to a certain point, or you can kind of piecemeal it together. So if you've already got a certain amount of things, because I had a couple of things where they were giving stuff away free on PC, I was able to access and kind of get. But you can get the Humble Bundle. Included with the purchase is a 30% coupon for Destiny 2 Year of Prophecy Edition, redeemable on Steam. So yeah, you can grab this. So Steam players can purchase the Humble Choice from September 2nd through October 7th, and to acquire the redeemable code for the Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, among other titles in the bundle. 5% of every Humble Choice purchase will be donated to Team Rubicon, the veteran-led humanitarian organisation that serves global communications before, during, and after disaster and crises. The Legacy Collection of 2025 includes the Final Shape Standard Edition, the Lightfall Standard Edition, the Witch Queen Standard Edition, Beyond Light Pack, Shadowkeep Pack, Forsaken Pack, 30th Anniversary Pack, Pit of Heresy, Shattered Throne Dungeon, and Grasp of Avarice Dungeon. So yeah, you can head over to them, and your purchase raises some money for charity. Also raising money for some charity, as we approach the Hispanic Heritage Month, the Latin at Bungie Inclusion, Diversity and Equality Association is celebrating the occasion with the Revere emblem. I'm going to say it's Revere. And they're excited to support the El Centro de la Reserva, a non-profit whose mission is to build unity across all races and economic sectors, to organise, empower and defend our most vulnerable and marginalised populations, and to bring justice, dignity, equality and freedom to all peoples of the world. So in honour of this, the Hispanic Heritage Month, everyone that makes a $10 donation to the El Centro de la Raz through the Bungie Foundation campaign will earn the Revere emblem for Destiny 2 through September 30th. And all net proceeds will go to the El Centro de la Raza. So yeah, just it's a lovely flowery emblem. Just donate $10 and celebrate the month with them.
I really like that emblem, to be honest.
It's a pretty one. It's got some butterflies.
Yes.
Grab that and stick it on your Guardian and wear it with pride this month. Or next month, or all the months. Just wear it all the time. Just do whatever you want to do. And with the return of heavy metal, you have another opportunity to claim the Triumph and the heavy metal title. There's a pin that goes along with it that you can get in the Bungie store. You have to complete the heavy metal title by the 30th of December at 9:59 a.m. and purchase your Bungie reward for the Bungie store. So if you like heavy metal and you like that, then that's good. You can do that.
It's not the heavy metal I'm into, to be honest, but it's all right.
I wish I'd started collecting pins, because then I'd be forced to collect all the pins.
God,
but
no, I'm glad it's something that I never got into.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I could do, but yeah, I didn't get into, so I'm not getting into.
Yeah, don't start it now. It's not worth it.
But as we have every week, we have a Peroty that normally tells the players his player support report, or a variation of it. This week, we have the honour of having Peroty 2.0. Is it 2.5? One of the parodies. It's the AI version of Peroty reading the player support report this week, because he can and I can. So there.
This is the Peroty 2.0 Player Support Report. Claim your seasonal challenges before Tuesday. When Ashen Iron launches next week, seasonal challenges will be refreshed. Players should claim any complete challenges they have before the game goes down for maintenance on Tuesday. Upcoming issue with displayed gear power. Due to an issue, Update 9.1.0 will include an issue where some gear may display a different number instead of their power. When this happens, the item's displayed power will match a stat on the item, and it can't be updated with Infusion. This is purely a visual issue, and the item's actual power will not be affected. Your access to content, difficulty when facing combatants, and rewards will also not be impacted. The cause of this issue has been identified, and we are planning a fix for an upcoming update. Known issues list. Dying against the Exile Ranix boss on Kepler's Mythic difficulty when trying to complete the steps for Graviton Spike's Transcendent Zen Catalyst causes the boss to despawn. Some players are unable to interact with a briefcase during the declassification side quest. Some platform achievements currently can't be completed. The countdown timer for Guardian ranks is using the Rewards Pass timer. Note, Guardian ranks are not being reset when Ashen Iron launches. And that was your known issues and player support report.
Thank you, AI Peroty. That was very well read, better than what I've done over the last 2 hours. So it may come to the point where I just feed everything from the TWAB into the AI robot and create an AI version of myself, and it sounds like me.
There isn't a Night Demon 2.0.
Not yet.
There hasn't been one yet.
Donnie's taken over. He's Donnie Infinite, so he's in charge. But in the rest of the TWAB this week, we have the Art of the Week. Somebody's made a nice little ghost terrarium, so that's pretty cool.
Like that. That's cool.
And there's a movie of the week, Caged, Man with a Plan, on YouTube, so you can watch those. So yeah, we've got Ashen Iron, Returning to the Plaguelands, and Iron Banner that they've sort of mentioned in a little bit coming with Ashen Iron, but not yet. We've still got Trials. So yeah, this is it's been a lengthy one this week, hasn't it?
It was a beefy one, that. Lots of information. As you say, though, Peroty, he does always seem to time it correctly, doesn't he? That he doesn't have to do these big beefy ones when a lot of information comes out. He's always on holiday. Yeah, he's just sat at home with his feet up.
Probably. So I do have a couple of videos to go through this week. So Cheese Forever put out one literally today, going over a simple trick for the fast rank heavy metal. And this is making sure that you go to shacks in the tower on each of your characters, picking up the quest and doing a heavy metal, and it will kind of progress your rank up really fast. But go and check out his video because he explains better than me. I'll drop in the video about Bungie either lied or can cheaters unban themselves from Lucky 10p, because that was quite interesting. Kepri Sting, as I mentioned earlier, Cool Guy says that we're not using Kepri Sting to its full advantage, and it looks amazing with what you can do with this season's exotic, the scout rifle, with the third iteration. So he's tested it with other weapons, but the third iteration that we've got, the scout rifle, works amazingly in PvE activities. A little bit in PvP. He did get we ran out of medals, not showing off that much, but he did apparently do it on mouse and keyboard, whereas he normally does it on controller. So there was a little bit of skill being used in that. And I did see a couple of TikToks this week about the new shotgun, and I can't remember the name of how it's pronounced. Let me find it in my collection, and then I can try and read it to you. The Tracinus. It's the stasis rapid fire shotgun that you can get. If you can get one with assault mag, it really bumps up the speed of the shots. So it goes from a 90 RPM up to 140. But Astrocross did some testing on it. It's a 14-minute long video, but it shows you how broken this is. And then I've also got That Unknown doing the new PvP beast, which is the shotgun, because it's a one of a kind. And then he's also got a guide on the new sword that is with heavy metal. So those are ones to kind of look out for, because there's a good pairing with the sword that people were talking about. So it's also got the eager edge on it, and it's a Solus heavy sword. But people were saying that you can also pair it with the Sharp Harvest. So landing 3 light attack hits within a short time grants special ammo. And it just grants special ammo. It's not like it charges up your meter. It just grants special ammo. So people are really kind of raving about that. So I've got guides for those 2 weapons that are in the game at the moment. So hopefully I'll try and get this podcast out before it goes away.
Interesting. I've got one with that as well.
There you go. Let's see.
Out of the very few games that I did play.
But yeah, there's definitely been a long news week this week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a lot to take in this week. It's the first time I've paid attention to it for a few weeks, because obviously I've not been playing. I've been pretty annoyed with the game,
and I kind of forced you to, because you had to come on the show and do a fill-in for Peroty, basically.
Yeah, it's the first time I've paid attention for a little while. I'm glad I paid attention this week, because it seems like we've got some really positive changes, to be honest, that I'd have absolutely been head in the sand about until I listened to the podcast. Because I've not been playing, but at least I'm loyal. I still listen to the podcast. I mean, I don't watch your videos because I don't watch videos, but I do listen to the podcast. So,
well, fair enough. But thank you for coming on and helping me this week. I'm definitely going to go and get some lunch and get a drink because my throat is very sore now from talking quite a lot. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Peroty 2.5, who's going to say thank you to all our patrons. No, Noble included. He has included you in the list. And
he does include me these days. It's nice.
Yeah.
He used to forget about me all the time.
Yeah, well, it's Peroty 2.5. He's on top of these kind of things. He knows that you're a patron.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's over to you, Peroty 2.5. Take us away. Take us home. Take us somewhere.
Peroty 2.5 here to thank you, marvelous patrons who we are so grateful for. The man, the myth, the legend, Renard Kalan, who cannot be threatened with a good time, no matter how hard we try. And our incredible grenade throwers, Golden God 1562, Noble, the man Conan from Texas, and Farrell. Thank you to all of the patrons. And if you'd like to join them, head over to patreon.com/TTAH. Or, if you'd like a more casual encounter, kofi.com/2titansandahunter. And with that, thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Night Demon. Your Warlock is the original Noble. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. We are everywhere and anywhere. Just search 2 Titans and a Hunter. It's there. Trust me. Email us with your thoughts, concerns, Crucible guesses, and whatever else is on your mind at 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube for each new episode, ADA1 and Eververse goods, and get your bets in for what Crucible modes are coming up. All our shows and notes live at 2titansandahunter.com. If you want to join the Otter Dance Troupe, threaten us with a good time, and throw more grenades, join our Patreon at patreon.com/TTAH. And as Ash and Iron Banner season comes upon us, and you want to keep it family-friendly like a proper British gentleman, head over to twitch.tv/2titansandahunter. Hit subscribe there and you'll know when we're live. And from those two and me, we'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.